southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Breaking news. Breaking news. We have signings in Riderville. I'll get to that in a minute. Hey, good afternoon, Saskatchewan. It's Dave Thomas filling in for Barney Shankrick and Tegan Whitco on the Sports Cage. Yeah, we're going to mail it in a little bit on this Friday. Not so much that we're kicking back and not doing anything. It's just we got some great guests that are going to come in and do the heavy lifting for us and take us inside sports in Saskatchewan and beyond. Coming up a little later this hour, we'll go inside the NHL with Eric Francis. Special guest co-host Arash Madani will join us between 5 and 6 this afternoon. Farhan Lalji gets to the latest from the CFL coming up a little bit later on, and we're headed to Halifax today to talk curling. The Olympic curling trials slide out of the hack tomorrow in Halifax. 8 of the best men's and women's team in our country will be participating, and we're going to go live to Halifax, get you right down to the pebbled ice with a Saskatchewanian, no matter what happens this weekend, is guaranteed to be going to the Olympics. The Sports Cage brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Yes, right off the top, we have player signing news from Riderville. It's not Trevor Harris. But national defensive back Gideon Auger, who was a draft pick of the Roughriders last year, played at the University of Calgary. He showed well throughout the training camp portion of last year's season, and I think it's fair that they bring him back. Again, a national defensive back isn't a bad thing to have. Also, American defensive end Chico Bennett Jr. Chico was brought in the latter stages of the season. He went on the practice roster in September, and as you know, when the season ends, any player that was on the practice roster automatically becomes a free agent. So the Riders saw enough from that defensive end to bring him back, and we'll see what Chico can do with a full training camp under his belt. And national wide receiver, University of Regina Ram product, Deshaun Mims has signed a contract extension with the team. So Deshaun will be back at training camp in the spring. So yes, 3 player signings today with Gideon Auger, Chico Bennett Jr., and Deshaun Mims. Also, want to hear from you, Saskatchewan. You took things over when we had both A.J. Ouellette and Trevor Harris in the big chair. If there's something you want to know, something you want to discuss, something you want to get off your chest before the weekend, we highly anticipate and encourage you doing that. The text line is always open for Prairie Land Rentals. Of course, whatever you need to rent to get the job done, Prairie Land Rentals probably has it. Also an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. The numbers, 306-936-6262. If you were playing along with us yesterday, you'll know that the trivia answer that we had asked when it came to Vanier Cup champions that had also won the Grey Cup, the player we were looking for, the pride of Humboldt, Saskatchewan, Kelly Bates. We've got a brand new question to get for you in just a little bit, too, so hang on for that. That's just around the corner. But how about the Sportscage.com poll question? You heard Trevor Harris and you heard A.J. Ouellette on the program yesterday. You went to the Sportscage.com and hit poll. And, wow, did you vote? The question right now, do you think Trevor Harris will return as the Saskatchewan Roughriders quarterback in 2026? Now, again, before he was on the Sports Cage yesterday, just below 70% of voters said, oh, yeah, he's coming back for sure. But it was only just under 70. That number since yesterday's appearance on this program has gone ahead and ballooned to 97% of Sports Cage insiders like you believe that Trevor Harris is going to be wearing green and white next season. Of course, we'll ask our guests when they come in a little bit later on. You can have your vote, though, at sportscage.com. And like I say, we're mailing it in today, so whether you're watching our YouTube stream or watching the stream at sportscage.com. Hey, I didn't even introduce you, Curtis. Hi.
Hey, yeah, I'm here. What do you think he said yesterday that made people suddenly so sure that he's coming back to Rider Nation?
Well, remember he said that he was pretty sure that he knew what he was going to do, but he wanted to talk to his wife before he confirmed it.
Got to make sure that the wife agrees, hey?
Well, I just don't think you lay that out there if you're not intending on coming back.
Yeah, that's true. I'm getting good vibes from him, but nothing's set in stone yet.
It's not done until pen is on paper, right?
That is true. That's true. Maybe he's waiting for some bigger bonuses. Who knows? When you play that well in a particular season, you probably want a little bit more money.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so guess we'll see. Maybe he wants to come back. Maybe the number just hasn't been solidified yet.
Potentially.
Cha-ching. Yeah.
I don't think it's that though. I don't get that vibe. That's not what I'm feeling. I don't think it's going to be a dollars and cents thing at all. It's like, hey, am I in and am I all in? And if it's yes and yes, then we're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I guess you could always say, like, maybe there's certain players he wants back. If he's going to come back, he's like, hey, we got to make sure that we got that O-line together again. So it's like, oh, hopefully I'm not getting touched just like the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
Can stay healthy.
Don't need to wear shoulder pads.
Yeah.
You think that quote is on the bulletin board of the Montreal Alouettes heading into 2026?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There's it'd be pretty cool if it could be a Alouettes and Rough Rider Grey Cup again, a little bit of personal vendettas and kind of a revenge game, if you will.
I think turnabout would be fair play, right? Montreal beat us back-to-back in 2009 and 2010.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying it bodes well for the Rough Riders. It's our time.
That's right.
We're going to have the back-to-backs against Montreal.
Look at you go.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
It all came together. Click, 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 ding, 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 ding. It's like, oh, I see. Dave's just spelling it out for me. It just had to.
Right now, you're not mailing it in on a Friday.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the kind of thing we look down on around here on Fridays, right?
All right, let's mail it in, okay?
Okay, well, let's mail it in. We'll get to the Sports Cage listener right now. Again, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're listening at 620 CKRM, no matter where you are, go to the text line at 306-936-6262 because we are looking for the smartest Saskatchewan Roughrider fan in the province today. Or around the world. Take your pick. We're mailing it in. There's no rules. So there's a new club that the aforementioned Trevor Harris became a member of this week, right? Of course, one that has a Grey Cup ring from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but also one that includes Ronnie Lancaster, Kent Austin, Kerry Joseph, and Darian Durant, the five of them, starting quarterbacks for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Grey Cup championship games. The question for you, smart listeners, is if you dig deep enough, you will find one specific thing in common with all five quarterbacks. Now, keep in mind, we are mailing this in. But if you're the smartest Saskatchewan Roughrider fan in the province, you can chime in. 306-936-6262. I'm just trying to see if I can. I don't want to give a hint yet. Again, chime in. You can call us. Give us a phone call. Absolutely. We have the phone lines open too. 866-767-0620 or 936-6262. We are talking football. We're changing gears, though. A lot of excitement here in the Queen City when it comes to the Vanier Cup. The University of Saskatchewan Huskies taking on the University of Montreal tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And just getting off the field from their practice is head coach Scott Flory of the Saskatchewan Huskies. And he is going to join us next. We got to take the trip to Leroy with Cody Glyden in just a moment. The Sports Cage, it's up, it's running, and we're mailing it in. I shouldn't say that too loud. Streaming at sportscage.com and, of course, live on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM. 620 CKRM on location.
Cody Glyden back here in Leroy. We are now under 380 tickets, less than 380 tickets. And we want to sell this thing out. 8 o'clock tonight is the deadline. Can we do it? Well, that depends on you. We're going to have to move a lot of tickets here to be able to meet that. If you call it 8:01 tonight, you're going to be out of luck, all right? So, yeah, we are going to be here for a little while yet selling tickets. So give us a call here. Now, tickets are $100 each. 3 for $250. Leroy Leisure Lotto, $130,000 is going to be drawn for this Sunday night. But again, that deadline is 8 o'clock tonight. It is deadline day, and you don't want to miss out on 34 chances to win anywhere between $500 and $130,000. 1-866-925-3769. That's 1-866-925-3769.
Hey, farmers and ranchers, do you want the next generation to know and care more about agriculture? Donate to the Acres for Education campaign by Agriculture in the Classroom Saskatchewan to help get students out of the classroom to experience agriculture. This year, every dollar donated will be matched up to $25,000 thanks to JGL, so your gift will make twice the difference. Donate at aitc.sk.ca/acres for education.
One gigantic overstocked warehouse
means wicked sale pricing for you.
The gigantic sale is on now
At Sherwood Co-op food stores.
offering more local products than any other grocery store.
And for this week only,
Your favorite brands wrapped up by the caseload.
and marked down to bulk bargain prices.
Big brands,
Big cases.
gigantic savings,
Time to bulk up your pantry.
and save your cash.
The gigantic sale on now till Wednesday.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
From the frozen fields of Saskatchewan rises a force you can't ignore. It's Canada's ultimate university football showdown as your University of Saskatchewan Huskies fight for their 4th Vanier Cup tomorrow at Mosaic Stadium. The stage is set. The opponents, the Montreal Carabins. The mission, bring home the Vanier Cup. Join the pack at Sports on Tap tomorrow for the official Huskies watch party. This is our time. Go Huskies.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
Ever seen a cow in a toque or a sweater? You probably could. They're not fans of winter either. When it's freezing out, your herd still needs water. But good luck convincing them to trek half a mile through snowdrifts for a drink. That's where Keln Solar comes in. Their solar livestock watering systems let you drop a pump just about anywhere. No grid, no trenching, no drama. So let the cows stay cozy. You move the water. Keln Solar. They move water because your cows won't. Visit kelnsolar.com.
Saskatchewan, it's time to talk sports. Sportscage is on the air. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. And we're always online at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back on the Sports Cage. Pleased to be joined by the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, Scott Flory. 60th Vanier Cup will be played on the turf at Mosaic Stadium tomorrow afternoon. Your team arrived yesterday. To me, they look dialed in and focused. What's the sense that you're getting from your group?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when you look at really what, from college athletics, the veteran leadership that we've got some outstanding 22-year-old young men that, that have been around, that have been with this team for a long time. They've been through some heartache here in 21 and 22, and they were young guys then, impact guys, but young guys then. I mean, I'm talking about the Seth Hundebys and the Riker Franks and the Daniel Weebs and the John Stolls. But there's a different level of focus to this group. There's an edge to it. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but we know we're going to play our butts off.
You mentioned the edge. Does the edge also translate perhaps into a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that to me, not that there isn't validity in things like that. I think it's we're more that's a pretty short-term thing. And I used to have back getting some open book stuff here, Dave. So back in the day, I used to have a long conversations with some like old coaches. So one guy in particular comes to mind is Vince Martino. He was an offensive line coach of mine back in 2012. He was an outstanding man. He was a longtime head coach in the NFL Europe and all that kind of stuff. And we just sit and talk. And he always, and I firmly believe he always said that kind of us against the world, chip on your shoulder stuff. It's not. It can sometimes come and go. It can fade. What we try to do here is establish long time, love and respect and honor the game and just the program. So, when we talk about recruit, retain, and develop in college athletics, we've only got them for 5 years, sometimes a little bit longer if they don't consume eligibility. But that's what we try to do. We try to ingrain the passion for this team, the program, the province, and, because at the end of the day, when it's coming down to 3rd and 1, that's a want to. And we got to make sure that we've got the right attitude and the guys are willing to sacrifice for the guy beside them. And that's what we're trying to do and to build and to grow.
Scott Flory is the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. His team plays Montreal tomorrow in the 60th Vanier Cup. Coach, when this game is being played in Regina, just down the road from Griffith Stadium, is that an advantage or is that a disadvantage?
I don't know. I mean, it's a neutral site game. I mean, it's not our home, but it's our home province. But it's not our home city. I mean, literally, Dave, I just got, I just went for a run around with the house where I grew up and my old elementary school and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of familiarity here. We've got a lot of guys that are from Regina. I think at the end of the day, I think Saskatchewan fans are going to cheer for Saskatchewan people. And I hope that the place is packed and that they're cheering for us. If that's not the case, I don't think it will be, but we're going to go and play our butts off regardless. I mean, we often say, and I don't say it jokingly. I said anywhere, anytime, anyhow. We'll play in a Walmart parking lot if we need to. That's where they schedule the game. We'll show up and we'll be ready to go.
So playing in Regina, and maybe is it harder to block out some of the distractions? I know there's a lot of time, like guys from radio stations in Regina calling the head coach saying, "Hey, you play again tomorrow," but taking you away from your prep.
No, and I always got time for you, Dave, just so you know that. But I think that, regardless of the storm or the weather around you, it's whether or not you can stay focused on the road ahead. And that's really what it comes down to. There's always the distractions. There's life, there's hoopla. And obviously when you get into a national championship, there's going to be draws of media and the banquets and things like that that are going to pull away. But it's all a matter of how quickly or how well can you stay focused or refocus back on the task at hand. And that's really what we focus on here with our guys.
You mentioned the banquet. The President's Trophy Award winner is your linebacker, Seth Hundeby, the top defensive player in the nation. We see what he does on the field, but he looks like an entirely different person off the field, too, and what he's able to accomplish and inspire his teammates to do.
Yeah, Seth is a unique human. He is just fantastic. I was talking with his parents last night, and he's the one recruiting visit that I walked to because we're borderline neighbors. He lives a couple blocks away. So he's a special young man. I mean, he's nobody can look and move like him at 6'3", 6'4", 245 pounds, and the way he runs and moves and how physical he is. And then you talk about the man that he is. I mean, a leader, and he's a high achieving engineering student. The world is oyster, and our guys just buy into him, and he's just such a good guy. He's always so positive, and he just loves everything. And it's you can't help but be around him and just smile and have joy.
He was drafted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders after telling teams at the CFL Combine that no matter what happens, he's going back to school. what does that say about him? And the conversation I had with him yesterday, I asked, like, is there any hindsight saying, I could have won a Grey Cup potentially with the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year. Instead, I'm competing for a Vanier Cup.
Yeah, no, it to me it was the right move. I mean, we talked a lot last spring. His path isn't dissimilar to what I had to go through. Same thing. I had to come back, finish the degree. Engineering you can't do online, and you got to do it, and you got to finish it. And he made the right move, and no regrets. Like, he's going to have a long CFL career. He's a special young man. I remember talking to J.O. back in the spring, and with him and Daniel, I'm like, you got two special ones there. I don't care what round you get them in. Guys will separate, and they will separate, and they will have long careers, and they're just outstanding young men.
Charlie Parks is giddy at the fact that he gets to play at home, if you will, at Mosaic Stadium for the Regina native. But the one thing that stood out to me, I said, how are you doing this thing back-to-back weeks preparing for an opponent that you don't know very well? And he said, this is nothing. We had a taste of that in week 1 when we went into Alberta with an entirely new coaching staff. So it sounds like your team is used to this whole thing.
For sure. A little bit in how you frame it, but he's exactly right. I mean, there's been so many changes in the Can West this year that we really didn't know what we're walking into a couple weeks with not only week 1 in Alberta with a whole new coaching staff and new coordinators, and then week 2 in Manitoba with, or week 2 at home we had UBC and they had new offense and defense coordinator. And then week 3, I think it was, we went to Manitoba and they got a new head coach, and they got, so it's for sure. I mean, there's always going to be newness to it. I think that for us, it's just when you get to your core and your fundamentals is that's the stuff that's going to set you over. And again, that focus and that mindset is just key.
Scott Flory is the head coach of the U of S Huskies. They're competing for a Vanier Cup title. 2 more quick ones for you, Coach. First, you hear often that we just need to be physical, and your team seemingly has taken that to a new height. And I asked one of your players about that, and that was the first thing they said. The difference is going to be just us being physical. And the player I asked was a receiver, Daniel Wiebe. How does that happen?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I think if you look at the game and the way the game, like, to me, should be played. It's a physical game. This game is not for everybody. It is not a contact. It's a collision sport. Like, there are massive collisions out there. And if you're not prepared to do that, be it a receiver, be it a DB, I mean, I tell those guys all the time, there's going to be 6 or 7 times in the game where you're going to have to, get a nip of courage and go in there and put your face into something and sacrifice your body and put it on the line. And that's just the way the game is, and that's the way it has to be played. And it's not for everybody. And that has been a staple of this program for the last 100 years, and we firmly believe that. There's a physicality level that we have to play with, that is an edge, and that we're gonna hit tomorrow. I've often said for years now, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna win or lose, we're gonna play our butts off, but they will feel us. There's no doubt about it. They will feel us.
University of Montreal, what do they possess, or what do they pose as a challenge for you tomorrow?
Man, they're a good team. They're long, lean, they're athletic. They've got really good structure. They're very well coached. I got a ton of respect for their head coach Marco Adialuca and their whole staff. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're a good football team. I wouldn't expect. I mean, they wouldn't be in the Vanier Cup if they weren't. So it's going to be a slugfest, no doubt about it. It's limiting mistakes and taking those opportunities when you get it to make those plays.
Coach, if I could make one more request before we let you go. Again, everybody in Saskatchewan is pulling for your quarterback, Anton Amandroud. If you wouldn't mind passing along our best wishes to him and his family and everything that they're going through. And again, I thank you for your time.
No, thanks, Dave. And just on that note, I just obviously it's been, number one, trying for Anton this last week and a half here, and then obviously the team and just the relationships that he has with this group. But the football community in Saskatchewan is second to none. The amount of emails and support that we've got, the university stepped up, and everybody in Saskatoon and everybody in the whole province, the Saskatchewan Roughriders and everybody. It's a common tie that binds, and we really appreciate that, the whole greater football community and the greater community itself of the province of Saskatchewan. That's why we love it here.
Coach, best of luck tomorrow, and go get them.
Thanks, Dave.
That's head coach Scott Flory of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. His crew are taking on the University of Montreal Carabin tomorrow. 60th Vanier Cup kickoff is at 1 o'clock at Mosaic Stadium. Still some great affordable tickets available. You can get yours online. More coming up on the Sports Cage in a moment. We'll take a break. Of course, we're streaming live at sportscage.com and across the world on 620 CKRM.
Ready to raise your shower game? Rent a water heater and water softener together from Reliance Heath and turn every shower into a spa-worthy experience. Right now, when you rent a new water heater and water softener together, you'll get $400 back, sent by check after installation. Why settle for meh when you can upgrade your whole home's water and get big cashback savings? Don't miss out on this limited time offer.
Call on Reliance.
Call on Reliance Heath today.
620 CKRM on location.
It's Cody Glyden back here in Leroy. It's the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Good luck to Laura in Wadena listening in this afternoon. Said, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting in on that $130,000 cash prize. What would you do with that? Maybe you've got some plans. You're already thinking ahead, or, maybe you're like me. You're going, well, it's probably going to be a donation. Well, that's okay, too, because that's what this lottery is all about. It supports so many organizations in and around Leroy. Just walked by their daycare that's being built right now. A big portion of the funds raised in this lottery has gone towards helping with the construction of that new daycare here in Leroy. And, this is all a volunteer-run thing. When you buy a ticket, it's $100, and that's not going to any CEO or any board of directors or anything like that. It's just volunteers who have a big passion for the community of Leroy. And in return, they want to give you 34 chances to win a whole bunch of money, anywhere between $500 all the way up to $130,000. But you've got to have that ticket by 8 o'clock tonight. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
Why did you want me over for coffee? I was just here yesterday.
I'm struggling to pick out new openers for my Vaderstad Seed Hawk. Time for a change. I think I need more separation.
Call Andrew from Dutch. He'll come right to the farm like he did for me. I told him what I was looking for. He helped pick the right opener for my farm, and I'm sure he'd do the same for you.
That does sound easy. Do you have his number?
What good farmer doesn't?
Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture, on farm for you.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
When you play Sports Select, you're part of more than the game. You're backing over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan funded through Sask Lotteries. So go ahead, make your picks at sportselect.com, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Every play is 100% legal, and every ticket supports your community. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the Sports Cage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Sports Select. Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer.
Yeah, we're mailing it in on this Friday, but not everyone is. People do have to do work and stuff. We've got out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Eric Francis is joining us. And boy, Eric, you ride first class everywhere you go. And where are you? St. Louis, New Jersey? What's going on?
I'm on my way to Delburn, Alberta for a kids hockey tournament.
So basically your best road trip of the year, right?
Yeah, if I had to rank the top 5, I'd certainly put this right up there with the best of them for sure. Yeah, no, it'll be good to get out there, see my son play. Oh, it's nothing better, as anybody knows who has a kid in sports. I'm just excited to get out there and enjoy it. I've never been to Delburn. It's just outside of Red Deer, for those unfamiliar, and I'm certainly not familiar with it, but really looking forward to it. It'll be good.
What kind of minor hockey tournament dad are you? Are you the guy that stands and visits in the hallway? Are you the one that's refereeing the mini stick game that's happening somewhere in the hotel? Are you the sitting in the hot tub kind of guy?
You know, it's funny you asked me. Yeah, hot tubs are definitely on the list there. I'm the guy who runs the Chuck-a-Puck. You familiar with the Chuck-a-Puck?
Absolutely. Love the Chuck-a-Puck.
Like, when I was first introduced to it, I don't know how many years ago, I remember thinking, oh my God, that's the coolest idea. What a great way to raise money for the team. And it's just a fun, fun thing to do in between periods, and all the adults and kids get into it. Somebody wins some money. And I'm the Chuck-a-Puck guy. I'm not the guy who stands at the end of the rink. There's always that dad who stands at the end of the rink, doesn't want to talk to anybody else because he's really into the game. And I understand those guys, too. They're the guys who they just don't want to hear some of the asinine comments from some of the other parents. And that's totally understandable, too. But that's not me. I don't mind listening to the asinine comments. And quite frankly, I like contributing to them as well.
Yeah, well, there's also the dialed-in dad that we didn't refer to, Eric Francis. The dialed-in dad is the one that slips the stats under the door of the dressing room so that the coaches can take a gander at it in their under-11 tournament.
That's hilarious. No, I'm not that guy. Look, I cover hockey for a living, but I would never try to tell a hockey coach how to coach kids, nor would I, criticize the coaches for what they're doing. I think it's awesome that everybody's volunteering, and, my son loves playing the game, and I love watching him. It's one of my favorite things in life to do. So I'm going to just keep on doing it and try to keep my thoughts to a minimum. Don't get me wrong. I've not agreed with every single call every rep's made over the years. Let's not get crazy about this. But I'm certainly not all that critical of things either.
Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on a Friday is brought to you by Sports Select. Get in on more of the sports action you want. It's as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. One thing that we won't be looking forward to for a while, Eric, is Connor Hellebuck out 4 to 6 weeks with the Winnipeg Jets. Obviously a big blow to their team, but they're downplaying it. Is that the right thing that they should be doing?
Well, you have no choice. Look, Eric Comrie's been pretty good, and so you got to basically put your faith in this young kid. And it's not for the whole season, so that's the good news for the Jets. But, yeah, that's certainly a blow. When the best player in the NHL, he's not just the best goalie, he's the best player in the NHL. And when he goes down, that's never a good thing. But, look, if there's a team that's got the depth to deal with it, it's Winnipeg. And you know what? I think Winnipeg has learned probably more than almost any other team. But the reality is, it's not what you do, from now till February that matters most. It's what happens when you start getting to the more important parts of the season. When the real bullets start to fly.
Well, when the real bullets start to fly. If that was today in the NHL playoffs, Eric, the Winnipeg Jets would be the only Canadian team in the postseason. A, is that a surprise? Yeah. And B, is there anybody else that's going to get into it from Canada?
Again, it's early. Look, I can tell you it won't be Calgary that's getting into the playoffs, that's for sure. It is starting to look pretty dire in some cities, but look, I think Montreal's too talented to miss the playoffs. I certainly think that all this sky is falling stuff out of Edmonton is ridiculous. I'm not worried at all that they're going to not make the playoffs. So, Toronto, that's an interesting one. I remember looking at their defense at the beginning of the year saying, I'm not sure that's a playoff team in that division. That's a tough division. I'm not going to sit here and declare that I have a strong feeling one way or the other on the Leafs. But, yeah, there's certainly a lot of hand-wringing going on in the Toronto area.
What's the emotion level in Calgary then right now?
Oh, people are frustrated. I've got a piece coming out. If there are Flames fans listening, I've got a piece that'll be up on the web in about an hour. And, it discusses in depth with Don Maloney talking about the big picture. Look, fans, they're they really want the team to, tank, lean into this terrible start. But I can tell you that that's not the way the organization's going to go. They still think that they have a fighting chance to get into the playoffs.
Wow. So what are they willing to do to make it happen?
Yeah. Good question. I mean, it doesn't have those answers, but I'm just telling you that that desire to lean into a rebuild has never been something that the Calgary Flames ownership has ever been interested in doing. They think that they can do the hybrid approach like Dallas, which is basically have a really good draft or two, and suddenly you're back into the picture. I think history has shown that pretty much all of the Stanley Cup winners over the last 15, 20 years all had to hit rock bottom, get that number 1 or 2 draft pick, and then kind of, fight their way back to the top. The argument in Calgary from the ownership group is, look, for every team that did that and bounced back and won a cup 5 years later, there are also the Buffalo Sabres, the Detroit Red Wings, the Oilers for a good decade. There's no guarantee that you're ever going to get out of that, that funk if you're rebuilding. So they really want to make sure that the culture of winning and the desire to try to make the playoffs every year is still strong, which confounds a lot of people.
Is there any heat on Craig Conroy then?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, heat in terms of, whether or not he's going to be fired or not. Yeah, I mean, certainly when you're 32nd in the league and expectations are much higher, that's always a possibility. I don't think so. He's on the last year of a contract, and I actually think they're going to extend him. But also the optics of that can be challenging too, because when you're extending a GM that's last in the league, it's a tricky one too. So I think he will survive this. I really do, because I think people understood that even though last year they were pretty close to making the playoffs, it was a bit of a mirage, and it happened a little quicker than anyone expected. So I still think that they're going to stick with Craig and use him as their long-term planner.
Well, like I say, we're kind of putting our feet up on the desk here on this Friday afternoon. Barney's away, so we'll play Inside the NHL with Eric Francis, and we've got a text question for you from Ken. Wants to know if you saw what happened with Connor Bedard the other night in the Chicago Blackhawks when he was assessed a penalty for essentially chirping.
I still haven't seen the replay. I saw some analysis of it. I've heard people talking about it and everything. But, no, I can't say that I actually watched it. I find it hard to believe that the star of the league would, do that. But, he's shown some frustration in the past. I remember last year he got kicked out of a game for showing some frustration as well. And, hey, listen, again, without seeing or hearing what was said, I think there gets to a point where no matter whether you're a superstar or a fourth-line mucker, if you run your mouth a little too much, at some point the refs are going to say enough, and you've embarrassed me enough, and now I'm going to embarrass you back. So it sounds to me like that's exactly what happened. But again, I haven't seen it. Does it sound like is that a fair assessment to you? Like from what you saw, did it seem like the ref just had enough and had to kind of put a cap on it?
Yeah, that's basically in a nutshell from what I would say. But the question obviously there's a ladder. I don't know if it's I don't want to call it priority or anything like that. But if Connor McDavid does that, there's nothing happening. And maybe does it just show that Connor Bedard isn't quite at that level yet, despite the start that he's had in the season and, of course, the clout that comes with being a number 1 pick?
I think it has more to do with being a veteran as opposed to being a rookie. You earn your stripes over the years. You're Connor McDavid, whether you're Connor McDavid or you're still a third-line mucker. If you've been in the league 8 years, there's a little bit more respect out there that's handed to a guy. If you're a kid, and look, Bedard's in his 3rd year in the NHL now, like these refs want to also set a standard too. Like, hey, you're a new guy. You can't talk to me like that. You can't talk like that in this league. And if you do, I'm going to put you in your place. So that's where I think that came down to. Just he's a 3rd-year guy in the league, and no matter what his status was, he shot his mouth off a little too much. The unfortunate thing about it was it actually had an impact on the game. The Blackhawks lost the game because of it. And that's the unfortunate thing. You don't ever want a referee to play a role in that, but I'm sure every ref and observer would say, no, the ref didn't do it. It was the player who did it. We're just not used to that happening. Veterans know where the line is. Maybe youngsters don't know quite as much.
Doug is in Red Deer, so maybe he'll come by a puck. I don't know. But Tell
him we're open for business. Open for business.
Well, you just did. He says, I haven't been into Calgary lately. How is the rink coming?
It is actually quite amazing. I drive by it every day because it's like 150 feet away from the current rink. And, as you can imagine, traffic in and around there is horrific. But we are now seeing it was just a giant hole for so long. And then over the summer, they were filling that hole in with a ton of concrete and rebar. And now it's actually, because the arena is sunken into the ground, the ice level is, I think it's 38 steps down into the bowl to where the ice is. And now there's stuff, 2-3 stories above ground level that's starting to be built. So it's their goal is still summer of 2027. And by all accounts, they're still on pace for that.
As we look around the Canadian NHL teams, this is a follow-up, so apparently Doug didn't want to listen to the entire answer. He must have been captivated. Awesome stuff. Doug wants to know, he cheers for Toronto when he's not cheering for Calgary. Can Toronto get back into the playoff picture, even though it's early?
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't know the answer to that. Look, right now, the two biggest reasons why I'd say they'd have a chance is because they can outscore their way out of their problems, which is what they've always done with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. But both right now are injured. One seems a little more concerning than the other, apparently. But, I just don't think they have the blue line or the goaltending, to stay in this funk for too much longer. Look, instead of giving a long answer, I'm going to say no. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. I really don't, because I think there's so much pressure on Matthews, and I think one thing we've learned from Austin Matthews over the years is pressure is not his friend.
Regina Pats season ticket holder Don wants to know, if you say this about Connor Bedard, does that mean that he's out for the Olympics? Will he be on the Olympic team?
Oh, no, what happened the other night has no impact on, whether or not he'll make the Olympic team. That's a bit of a stretch, but I don't think there's room for both those guys. And everyone knows who I'm lumping together here. Celebrini and Bedard have been the talk of the NHL this year. They're by far the biggest storyline of the NHL this year. And the fact that in both cases they've kind of helped lead their teams out of some dark years, and there's signs of hope. I just don't think you can bring two kids that are, one's 19, one's 20. There are too many great options, veterans who've been there, done that, to kick two veterans out for two youngsters. Yes, they're skilled. If I had to take a guess, I'd say Celebrini makes the team and Bedard doesn't. And I think that's also based on the reputation that both players have around the league as well.
We've had a celebration all week long, Eric Francis, here in Rider Nation. And I think it's getting to some of us, because a text on the text line at 306-936-6262. What's the text number? So I don't know. Maybe Logic's throwing a few of us off here this afternoon. We are mailing it in after all. It's been a long week of stuff here in Rider Nation. The question, what's this next question? I'm trying to decipher it for you. When it comes to... Okay, will the Calgary Flames become sellers? Are they willing to do that if they don't want to do a rebuild?
Yeah, look, eventually they're going to have to be sellers. The question is, how deep does the sale go? Like I said, this piece I've got coming out, it's a two-part Q&A with the guy, Don Maloney, who oversees the Flames, and I'll give you a little hint on Saturday's piece. I asked him about trading Kadri, and he said, we don't need less Kadris, we need more Kadris. So I don't think Kadri will be one of the guys up for sale, but they'll have to debate whether or not a guy like Blake Coleman, these guys are going to have huge value. The one guy who is guaranteed to be traded this year is Rasmus Andersson. He's probably been the Calgary Flames' best player so far this year, so his stock will be on the rise. Every team in the league is looking for, a heart and soul defenseman who's been there, done that, blocks shots, will do anything to help the team. So Rasmus Andersson is the one that I guarantee will be traded this year. After that, I'm just not sure how much deeper they're willing to go, because they want to try to maintain what they call a winning culture with these veterans leading the way, and that means they can't trade too many of them.
Okay, Rob on the text line, Prairieland Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. I was asking my wife, we're driving to Moosomin, and that was voice to text. I wanted her to tell me what the text number was. Okay. I could imagine being in that car with Rob. Rob's question, he wants to know he's a Winnipeg Jets fan. Is Jonathan Toews back, and what has your assessment been of his play? I think
he's been good. And I think the beautiful thing about his situation with the Winnipeg Jets is that, he's not being counted on to be the Jonathan Toews that he was in Chicago, where he's got to carry the load and be the first-line center. He can go into Winnipeg and be a second-line center in a city where the third-line center is actually the captain and one of the driving forces of the organization. So they've got this incredible depth at center. There's no huge pressure on him. It allows him to ease his way into this season. I think he's had a really good start. The production is starting to come of late. I had a great chat with him early in the season, and he's being patient. And, his expectations, I don't want to say they're low, but he knows that they're not asking him to be a difference maker this early on. So I think it's been a win for the organization, a win for the player, and quite frankly, it's one of the great feel-good stories of the National Hockey League this year because, as most people know, I think he went over to India. He went all over the world to try and find solutions to long COVID. And I also think he's a beacon of hope for other people who are dealing with long COVID. So that's a good story, too.
Tampa Bay Lightning have won 7 of their last 10 games. How I'm trying to read it. I think they're asking how legitimate of a threat the Tampa Bay Lightning?
I think they're a top 5 team in the National Hockey League. I really do. I'm on my way. Like a lot of road trips for a guy in the West. You're all over the place. I'm starting in Delburn this weekend, and I'm off to Tampa Bay on Monday. And so I'll get to see the Lightning firsthand. Then we're going to Florida, Nashville, Carolina. A real tough road trip. But Tampa is. Look, they've got the best coach in hockey. I'm convinced of that. They still probably have the best goaltender in hockey in Vasilevsky. I love their top line, Gensel, Kucherov, Point, and they've all had very slow starts this season, I'll get. Brandon Hagel's a phenomenal player, Cirelli. I mean, I just think that their depth in the top 6 up front is as good as anybody's in the league, quite frankly. And they've got the experience blue line and experience all over the place. They've won cups, so I think Tampa is in for a nice little resurgence here, and I think they'll be one of the favorites in the East when we get the playoffs started. But that's a long way away.
Apparently, Rob doesn't know how to turn off voice to text, as it looks like there's a deer in the ditch. So that's awesome. Good. Drive safe, Rob. I got to ask you about road trips. We just got back from one at the Grey Cup and had one of the greatest experiences with other media. It's one of the most fascinating things, hearing other people's opinion, but it's also interesting finding how people can try to save money, like one media outlet trying to share an order of all-you-can-eat wings. Is the media frugal in your world too?
Fantastic. Well, that's good to hear that there's a strong tradition in the media of being cheap. I mean, look, none of us are getting rich. None of us are getting rich in this business, and sometimes costs need to be cut. There is a legendary figure, and I'm not going to name him, a legendary figure who's covered like 30-plus Grey Cups, one of my favorite people, a legend in our business, and he was famous for always, look, you go back decades when I first met him, and they used to sell smokes in the bar. You could order a carton of smokes with a round of doubles. And he would order doubles. He drank doubles quite famously, so double rum and Coke, double rye and Coke. And he would also get a carton of smokes. It would all go on the big tab. There'd be, say, 8 of us. We're all having a good old time. And when the bill came, he'd be the first to reach up and snag it out of the waitress's hand and say, okay, bill is whatever it is, $1,200. There's 8 of us, so each one of us owes, and he would divide it by 8. And so we would always be paying for his doubles and for his smokes. That is not just being cheap. That is being crafty, innovative. And there was a part of me as a youngster when I first met him, I was like, whatever you say, sir. And then as I got older, I said, no, That's not the way this is working. I'm not paying for your drinking or smoking problem. You can take a separate bill for all your little vices, and I'm going to deal with my own little chicken wings that I'm sharing with my buddy over here.
Veteran move.
Yeah, veteran move. That's why he's a legend.
Oh. Eric Francis inside the NHL. Thanks for doing this. Good luck in the tournament this weekend. It's time that you can't get back with your kids, so enjoy it.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much, and we'll talk next week.
Absolutely. Inside the NHL with Eric Francis for Sports Select out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Boy, we've got lots to get to, including your Sportscage ticker signings in Riderville today. We'll tell you who signed coming up in a moment. This is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on the air at 620 CKRM.
You need to know what's going on in Regina, so get the scoop with the Regina Today newsletter, your backstage pass to everything happening in the city. It's quick, it's free, it's Regina Unfiltered. Get it straight to your inbox. Find the link to sign up at 620ckrm.com or text news to 306-936-6262 and get the link delivered right to your phone. Regina Today from sastoday.ca. Don't miss out.
620 CKRM on location.
Good afternoon. It's Cody Clyden here at the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Time is now a factor. If you've been waiting to get your ticket, today is the deadline. 8 o'clock tonight. It comes to an end. The draws will be Sunday night at 7 o'clock. We'll be getting an update here shortly. I think we're still just a bit above 300 tickets. The 50-50 take-home is approaching $44,000, and we might just be exceeding $44,000, but we'll be having an update here shortly. So there are still some tickets available. We want to sell out this lottery. I know a lot of you have kids and grandkids involved in all kinds of sports, curling, hockey, football, baseball, and you've probably noticed, boy, that adds up real quick. Could you do with $130,000? I'll bet you could do with that much money, or maybe you'll win some of the other prizes too. Anywhere between $500 all the way up to $130,000 available to you in this lottery. 1-866-925-3769. Make that call. Get in there. 1-866-925-3769.
And the puck's dropped on your financial future. Are you skating toward retirement? Don't get caught offside when it comes to your work pension, farm succession, or changing family needs. Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, and the team at GP Financial Services and Aviso Wealth are your local independent advisors helping Saskatchewan families plan for retirement and beyond. 306-584-2755, gpfinancial.ca. Mutual funds and other securities are offered through Aviso Wealth, a division of Aviso Financial Inc.
It's home reno season, and with that Regina wind chill, you're better off renovating than relocating. Stay productive with a little help from Freeze Tallman. From drywall and molding to installation and interior doors, they've got everything you need to renovate your space. Freeze Tallman's delivery team can also deliver right to your home if you live in Regina, Fort Capel, or anywhere in southern Saskatchewan. Freeze Tallman's got you covered this reno season. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
Attention Regina, this is not a test. The 2025 clearance event is on right now at Capital Ford. Brand new 2025s are priced to move with stack savings and limited time incentives. Get finance rates as low as 0% on select new 2025 inventory, or get savings up to $15,000. Do not miss the event of the year, the 2025 clearance event, only at Capital Ford in Regina.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Bundle and save with Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together and get $400 cash back. Call on Reliance Heath today.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders have signed See, that was a dramatic pause when you're taking it easy on a Friday. They have made 3 signings, none of which are named Trevor Harris, national defensive back Gideon Ajay, who was drafted by the team last spring. He went back to the University of Calgary over the summer, fall season. He will be back in camp come this spring, as will American defensive end Chico Bennett Jr., was brought in late in the season, made an impact, and was signed to the practice roster. Now has re-upped and will again attend training camp in Saskatoon. So will wide receiver and former University of Regina Deshaun Mims, the former Rams player, of course, spent the entire campaign with the Riders, made 1 catch for 6 yards on the season. Western Hockey League tonight, Regina Pats are back in action, continuing their U.S. Division road trip, 9 o'clock start time. Of course, we will have the broadcast for you here on 620 CKRM starting at 8:30 with Dante DeCaria. Handful of other games in the Western Hockey League tonight. Busy night in the SJHL with 4 games on the go, 3 in the Prairie Junior Hockey League. Saskatchewan female under-18 AAA game also going on. And in the NHL tonight, we heard about Connor Hellebuck, going to be out 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing knee surgery. That means he will not be in the Jets lineup when they take on the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. And that is your sports ticker for Reliance Heath. Hey, we've got the trivia question as we're turning things over to you, Saskatchewan, on our text line at 306-936-6262. Trevor Harris became a member of the exclusive club that includes Ronnie Lancaster, Kent Austin, Kerry Joseph, and Darian Durant as starting quarterbacks for the Saskatchewan Roughriders that have won a Grey Cup ring. They all have something specific and, well, very specific in common. We've got guesses coming in from them all being male. Yes, that would be true, but not what we're after. And blood type. I don't know how we can find that out, but it isn't what we're after either. You can guess anytime, of course, on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. Lots to get to still. Coming up, a conversation with Farhan Lalji. Find out what's happening with the Toronto Argonauts as well as your Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's got an insight that's coming up after the top of the hour. Also, we're off to Halifax to talk curling with Saskatchewan's own Olympian. Devin Heroux is headed that direction, and we're going to tell you all about that coming up after 4. This is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, streaming online at 620CKRM.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News. Chris Fallman of Regina, who is accused of killing Weyburn resident Tanya Myers on Highway 39, is still waiting to learn if he will get bail after a 2-day hearing before Justice Michael Morris. The show cause hearing wrapped up today, and Morris has reserved his decision with no date set. Fallman remains in custody. The case returns to Weyburn Provincial Court on December 9th, and evidence is under a publication ban. We're less than 24 hours away from the Vanier Cup, symbolic of Canadian university football supremacy, taking place at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time the event has been held here in the Queen City. Brad Gore, the Director of Marketing and Tourism for Regina, is looking forward to the event, even if they're not sure about what kind of economic spin-off this will have for the city.
I think the best part is it's a wonderful national spotlight for Regina and also for university sports. And I think that's a great way to showcase that kind of collegiate athletes at their best, the peak of football. And we know in Regina that people come out for football.
Kickoff tomorrow for Mosaic Stadium is at 1. One of 2 people charged in connection with the February 4th quadruple murder on the Carry the Kettle Nakota Nation has appeared in court again. A 15-year-old boy who cannot be named due to his age was in Regina Provincial Court yesterday, where he was remanded in custody to December 3rd. Canada Post said it will need another bailout by early 2026 as the Crown Corporation bleeds cash, putting it on track for its worst fiscal year yet. The organization reported the highest quarterly loss in its history today, $541 million, as the beleaguered mail service contends with stiff competition for parcel delivery and disruptions from an ongoing labor dispute. Carleton University business professor Ian Lee says only drastic reforms could bring Canada Post back to solvency, including thousands of layoffs and franchising its 5,700 post offices.
There will be another bailout. There's no magic money falling from the sky from the gods. They're not suddenly going to see letters jump back up. Yeah, people aren't writing letters. There's no evidence that businesses that left and deserted the post office is going to return.
Meanwhile, the bargaining saga with a union representing 55,000 mail carriers has now stretched past the 2-year mark as the busy holiday season looms. And a grizzly bear that attacked several people in Bella Coola remains on the loose, and officials are warning locals to stay indoors. The BC Conservation Officer Service says a school group was having lunch along a trail when the bear attacked. Inspector Kevin Van Dam says multiple teachers physically intervened in the attack and drove the grizzly away with bear spray and a bear banger.
The injured individuals were treated at Bella Coola Hospital and are being transported to Vancouver for further care.
The Conservation Service has confirmed that 3 children and 1 adult were injured in the attack. And the Hudson's Bay Company Royal Charter is officially on the auction block. The 1670 document created the now-defunct retailer. Anyone interested in buying it has until next week to signal their interest before an auction set for December 3rd. 2 of Canada's wealthiest families plan to buy and donate it to the Royal Ontario Museum, the Canadian Museum of History, the Manitoba Museum, and the Archives of Manitoba. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
620 CKRM on location.
Well, we're just a little under 300 tickets remaining. That 50-50 take-home is just over $44,000, almost $45,000 take-home. 8 o'clock tonight is the deadline for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. What's up for grabs? Well, with that leisure package, your choice of brand new Ford, Ram, or GMC Sierra truck. That comes with the Sportsman Select Travel trailer. And then your choice of the Sea-Doo or the Polaris. Those are both brand new, by the way. Or you can take the money and get what you want, $130,000 in cash. Second prize, the party in the patio, or $10,000. Third prize, $5,000, and 30 cash draws on top of that. That 50-50 is closing in on $45,000. Tickets $100 each, 3 for $250. Good luck to Neil down in Rock Glen. He called earlier this afternoon. Neil said, hey, I want to be in for the $130,000. Neil, you're in the draw drum. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
The weather is brought to you by Linex, Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Well, the snow looks like it's on the way, but we don't have to worry about it this weekend. Tonight, expecting clear skies and a low dropping to -2. Tomorrow, sunshine for the Vanier Cup with a high of 6 degrees, and the Kickers are going to be happy. Only a 15-kilometer-an-hour wind out of the northwest anticipated. For Sunday, mix of sun and cloud, a high of 5, and then snow could develop late on Monday. Temperature through the day of +4. For Tuesday, light snow and flurries anticipated, and a high of -4 degrees.
For 40 years, the team from Linex Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Linex Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage. It is not exactly a mail-it-in Friday because we don't want to get in trouble from the bosses, but Barney is away, Tegan's not here, and it's Dave Thomas filling in on a Friday afternoon where we've just gone through a full celebration with the Grey Cup and getting set for the Vanier Cup tomorrow at Mosaic Stadium. Still lots to get to, including Arash Madani joining us for a full hour after 5 o'clock, and 10 million reasons to smile for Farhan Lalji. We'll tell you about that coming up before we get to 5 o'clock this afternoon. The Prairieland Rentals text line is buzzing with your guesses. No correct answers yet when it comes to finding the smartest Saskatchewan Roughrider fan in the world. Yeah, we went ahead and we extended it to the entire globe. Trevor Harris joins that exclusive club of 5 starting quarterbacks for the Saskatchewan Roughriders that have won Grey Cup titles. There's one thing that bonds them all together. It's a very specific thing. What is it? We've got guesses now from Ross, who says it was their age. They were 40, or maybe it has to do that they hung out in Montreal or did something with the Montreal Alouettes. Neither are correct. More of your guesses are coming up. But before we get to anything else on this Friday afternoon, it is my privilege and pleasure to admit that I am wrong, because we are pleased to welcome in from CBC Sports. He's going to the Olympics. He is Saskatchewan strong and Saskatchewan proud. Devin Heroux joins us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, the Greek-style pizza that's become famous around the world, plus all the Greek and Canadian food you can't get enough of. Western Pizza, the local legend. The legend Devin Heroux is in Halifax getting set for the Canadian curling trials, but starting with an apology. You and I have known each other for a long time, and we got to share a moment at the Grey Cup after the Saskatchewan Roughriders won, and the whole month has become a blur to me. And some point in this month, I believe it was pre-West Final, you were named to be going to the Olympics, and you're going to be taking part in the opening ceremonies in addition to all the great work that you do there. I didn't congratulate you. I was in such a euphoric moment that I didn't say congratulations, so congratulations, my friend.
Dave, first of all, thank you for that. No need to apologize, because it was all a blur and everything was happening, and the party is still going all the way out here in Atlantic Canada, where, Saskatchewanians, we travel well. So there's a bunch of us who are still celebrating out here on the East Coast. And I want to return the congratulations to you, because I'm absolutely thrilled that you're the voice of our Saskatchewan Roughriders. Of course, we go way back to Blades hockey and Huskies hockey broadcasts, and when you were named Voice of the Roughriders, I was over the moon for you. I was over the moon for the fans. You're a pro, and I'm just so glad that you are part of this journey. What a season, what a team, what a championship. So we can go on and congratulate each other, but this is what a great time to be green and be from Saskatchewan.
Is that not the truth? Let's start with the Grey Cup before we go anywhere. What was the moment for you?
I don't take any of these Grey Cup moments for granted. That was my 11th Grey Cup, Dave. I have now bared witness to 3 of the Rough Rider Grey Cup wins of the 5 in our history. I've been there for the 2 heartbreaking losses as well. I've had to cover them when the Rough Riders weren't in them, but it's a different feeling when you show up to a stadium and your team is playing in the championship. I made it very clear to my employer that I would not be filing, Dave, because there were no guarantees that there would be any level of objectivity. There wasn't. As you saw, I was decked out in green from start to finish. It was wonderful, quite frankly, that it happened in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers Stadium. I know much have been made about that, but that is a great rivalry that I grew up as a part of in the province at every Labor Day Classic and the first ever Banjo Bowl as well. But I think the way the team did it, the way they won it, defense wins championships. I was kind of cringing at the fact that every Grey Cup always seems to be dramatic when I really didn't want to be. It felt like we were a score away from blowing them out. But it was riveting. It was heart-stopping. And really, actually, the moment for me, Dave, was the fact that I was watching the game, as luck and fate would have it, beside Dylan Wynn's father, of course, of the Montreal Alouettes.
Wow.
So him and I watched that game together. Of course, I enjoyed it and soaked it up. But to see a father watch a championship game, watch his son play, was a really special moment for me. It was bigger than the game, and he gave me a huge hug and said, "Congratulations, first-class guy, John Wynn." So that's what it was for me. It was quintessential Canadiana. It was a great Grey Cup game, and we are the champions, and that is sweet.
Devin Heroux, that is you in a nutshell. Right there. For curling fans, if you do not follow Devin on social media, you are missing out, because the insights, the relationships that you have formed with the athletes that compete at the highest level is spectacular. You're in Halifax right now for the Olympic curling trials, which get underway tomorrow. 8 of the best men's, 8 of the best women's team are going to be on the ice. What's the buzz? What's the feeling right now out that way?
Dave, I've never felt anything like this ahead of a curling event. This is the third Olympic trials over 12 years that I'll be covering. I've covered all of the bonspiels around the world, World Championships, Brier, Scotties. I've never felt anything like this. I just got back from Scotiabank Centre, downtown Halifax, where the teams were on the ice. There is a level of intensity and stress and anxiety and excitement I've never seen. It feels like the stakes have never been higher for Canadian curling. It's been somewhat of a fall from grace. Gone are the days that Canada shows up at an Olympics and is guaranteed a podium spot. In fact, over the last 2 games, Canada has only come away with bronze medals in the 4-person game. So they're feeling it. The Canadian curlers are feeling it. Of course, on the women's side, Rachel Homan, world number 1, back-to-back Scotties and world champion. They're a juggernaut. It's theirs to win and theirs to lose, quite frankly. But I think they're ready to meet the moment. They just seem like they're on their own stratosphere. On the men's side, Dave, flip a coin. I mean, this is like rock'em sock'em, heavyweight, Dunstone, Jacobs, Gushu, Epping, McEwen, Kleider, McDonald, Cooey. I said all of them because the reality of it is if any one of them gets hot, it could go their way. So it's an all-you-can-eat buffet of granite glory. I can't wait. The fans can't wait. I'm hearing this place is going to be absolutely packed. So buckle up. It's going to be some of the best curling you've ever seen.
Brad Gushu, this is his final Olympic trials. This is his final season. Does that put more or less stress on him entering this event?
It is such a great question, Dave. It really is, because the thing about Brad is that up until winning his first Brier in 2017 in St. John's, that was a missing thing. And I think he was getting to the point where he was like, is this ever going to happen? Of course, he won Olympic gold in 2006, but then he won it. And then winning seemed to come easy because what he has said since then is he's essentially playing with house money. And it's a scary thing. And you would know this, that when an athlete has nothing to lose and they're free and they're playing with house money, they are a dangerous breed of athlete. And now Brad goes out and he says he's retiring, and he has struggled, I would say, since Brendan Botcher came on the team. They haven't found the chemistry that they want to find. And it's been really interesting because every event I've covered over the last decade, he has always been top of mind, top of tongue, first thing you talk about.
Yeah.
And he actually isn't really the one people are talking about around here. I saw him in the lobby this morning. He's focused as ever, looks relaxed as ever. And here's a note for the fashionistas out there. In 2005, in this very arena, when he won Olympic trials, when he was 25 years old, they were wearing those ugly orange jerseys. Some people might say they were beautiful. I think they're ugly. Well, guess what? They're back in them. They're back in the orange stave 20 years later, trying to turn back time. So I think, listen, never count Brad Gushu out. There's something about the biggest events that brings out his best. And they're going to be traveling from Newfoundland and Labrador, and they're going to have a time here in Halifax. It's going to be rowdy.
What's the strategy? Devin Heroux is our guest from CBC Sports, getting set for the Olympic curling trials out in Halifax. Is the strategy that you want to peak at the end of the week, or do you have to be on your game day one tomorrow?
Every one of these games is a playoff game, as far as I'm concerned. 8 teams, so you play 7 games round robin. I was talking to David Murdoch from Scotland, who's now the high performance director for Curling Canada. We flew over here, and we were bantering and talking about what sort of record gets you into the playoffs. Of course, top 3 teams make it into the playoffs. First place goes directly to the final. Second and third play in the semifinal. So it's a coveted spot if you can place first. I think you're only allowed 1 loss to get that first place. You might even have to run the table. And I don't think anything more than 2 losses will be good enough. So there's no margin for error if you have 1 off game, and that can happen early in the week because the ice conditions are going to be interesting and they're going to be learning the ice conditions. Mm-hmm. I'll also point out to everybody listening in, Curling Canada has actually purchased a set of world curling rocks from Scotland. They're different rocks, Dave. You'll appreciate this, and people who are diehard curling fans. So they hit differently. They have different striking bands. They curl differently, and they want to mimic sort of what they'll be using at the Olympics. That's why they brought them in. But if you don't have a handle on the rocks and the ice, you might slip up early and that might cost you a playoff spot at the end of the week.
You mentioned David Murdoch. He's been with Curling Canada for a couple of seasons now. What has his impact been on the organization? Is it tangible yet?
Yeah, it is. It is. And the biggest thing that I'm going to point to, Dave, is the fact that it's now a best of 3 final at the Canadian Olympic Trials for the first time ever. And that is totally a brainchild of David Murdoch. And listen, I think it's a great thing, because not to say that, you know, this grinded out sort of thing that is the Canadian Olympic curling trials hasn't produced the best curlers at the end of it. But this is to ensure that the best team at the end of the week in a best of 3 scenario goes and represents a country. Quite frankly, when you get to this level of curling, any one of these teams can likely win a 1-game showdown. Could come down to a pick rock or something crazy happens in the game. You don't want that to determine the team you're sending to the Olympics. So you build in a bit of a buffer. If you can beat one of these teams 2 or 3 times, I feel you deserve to go. And that's all the credit to David Murdoch to really put in that safeguard, is what I think of it as. And it's going to be dramatic. I mean, can you imagine if this thing comes down to a game 3 on Sunday here in Halifax with an Olympic berth on the line? It's going to be, I hope it does, on both sides, because I love drama and chaos. It's just going to be riveting stuff. And I think that all the credit to David Murdoch to put that in place.
Well, shout out to the Cali Curling Club here in Regina, Devin Heroux, is they haven't kicked me out yet when I'm watching my kid curl. You know, some people don't have that. Anyways, long story short, overhearing a conversation that fascinated me last week. Would Curling Canada ever consider going to a best of team? So if you look at hockey, right, a team is selected and they go. Right now, the curlers put their own teams together. Is that something that would ever be considered or work?
Well, I would argue that might be Team Homan right now, Dave. Yeah.
Good call.
I mean, and listen, as an add-on to that conversation, I would say, would Curling Canada ever get to a place where it just outright appoints a team to represent the country? I haven't ever heard this debate as strong for a team like Team Homan ever in the history of this event. I think there is a strong majority of people out there who feel they should be appointed. I don't think so. I think, listen, they haven't lost to a Canadian team since October 2024, more than a year. If you want to go to the Olympics for this country, do it, prove it, and do what you've continued to do and be who you've continued to be. In terms of putting together an all-star team, I'm going to say that if Curling Canada doesn't have success at these Olympics, there's going to be a serious overhaul of the system, because you look at what they've done in Scotland, for example, at the British Curling Academy with Team Mowat. They essentially formed this juggernaut, the Curling Avengers, Team Mowat, and they've basically been unstoppable. So listen, other countries in the world don't have the luxury and the depth we do, and that's why they sort of appoint their team and they fund them, and it's a full-time gig, and how nice would that be? Here in Canada, we have depth. We're kind of victims of our own success, Dave. But I think to keep a pathway to curling in this country, you have to have trials, you have to have teams. But I would say if they don't have success here, we might not be too far off from sort of a curling all-star team at the Olympics.
See, as I said, we are mailing it in here, so we're asking you all the questions. We're just sitting back and listening to your expertise. So fill in the blank question. The team that wins the Olympic curling trials this week will blank.
Oof. Boy, that's a choose your own adventure, isn't it?
Isn't it?
I'm going to say the teams that win the Olympic curling trials here in Halifax will end up on the Olympic podium. That's what I'm going to say. And for Rachel Homan, this is everything to her. She's been at the previous 2 Olympics. Of course, she bombed out in 2018, didn't even make it to the playoffs. Then she was there in mixed doubles in Beijing. She didn't make it to the playoffs as well. This is everything for her. On the men's side, my goodness, you just have to fight like hell to make it into the semifinal, and then the top teams in the world, they're going to be hard to beat. So curling has never been better. The Canadian trials are going to be absolutely electric. I can't wait. It's going to be nonstop stuff, and I'm just ready to get this thing going, Dave.
No doubt. You can hear the passion in your voice. You talk about the best of the best, though, and that is, of course, the Grand Slams, the World Curling Tour. Of course, you're a big, big part of that. Making a stop in Saskatchewan at Merlis Belcher Place on the grounds of the University of Saskatchewan next month. What are we going to see in an event like that? Because I know there's some curling fans that say, okay, it's not like a Brier and it's not like a Tournament of Hearts. And no, it's not, but it's some amazing curling.
I'm really glad you brought that up because, of course, I'm part of the curling group in the Grand Slam of curling as well now. So I should be talking about the slam that's running back to Saskatoon. Yeah. And I'm thrilled about that because I get to stay right until Christmas, Dave. So the timing works perfect. Awesome. Listen, couple selling points really quick. This is going to be the first event where you're going to see the Olympic representatives for Canada. So that's a huge thing. Every Olympic curling team essentially plays in the Grand Slam of curling. So in my opinion, it is actually some of the best curling you're going to see outside of a world championship or an Olympics. I don't think there's a better place to watch curling than in the heartland of curling and football, I might add, than in Saskatchewan. So the Grand Slam of curling is going to be there. And I really think it's going to be at such a different level, such a high level, because everything is different in an Olympic year. So these teams at this point, and I travel with them, I was just in Tahoe with them. I've been on the circuit. I see them week in and week out. Something clicked over this past few days where they're now feeling it. Those Olympic juices are starting to flow, and it just so happens that Saskatoon sort of gets to be the gateway to the real Olympic season. So get down there, pack the place. Ticket sales are strong, unsurprisingly, but you're going to see the best on the planet, and it's going to be a chance to send off our Canadian curlers to the Olympics in a really fitting way.
Can you help put my finger on this one? Because I was at the event in Saskatoon 2 years ago. Don't quote me, but there was a different vibe in the arena than what you get at, for example, we were at the Worlds in Moose Jaw last year. It's just a different feeling, but I can't understand why or what it is.
Well, we're trying to make it a party. And I know some traditionalists of the game sort of might cringe a little bit about that, but the fact remains, Dave, is that we're and I say we're collectively, the curling world, the curling community is looking around and finding ways to make this sport viable, to find better grassroots curling programs, pathways to elite curling. And I would say that the Grand Slam of curling is doing that because running along the same time in the Tier 2 event at Merlis Belcher in Martinsville, there's a Tier 2 event for all the other up-and-coming teams. So it's a party, and it's intended to be a party. And all of those things, in my opinion, can exist within sport. You can have a good time. It's entertainment. It's the great escape from the rigors of life. And so when you show up at an arena for a Grand Slam of curling event, there's going to be people dressed in banana costumes. There's going to be bananas and shenanigans going on in the arena. And we want you to have a good time. The curlers, more than anyone, Dave, I want to make this last point. They're the ones driving the bus on this. I saw Colton Flash, good Sasky boy, at the arena today, getting ready to try to compete for the Olympics. But he's ready to party here, and he wants to have a party back home during the Grand Slam. So it can be all those things. We can have some fun. Hopefully people pack the place, like I said, in Saskatoon, because it's the best curling on the planet, and it's a heck of a good time when you're there. You can get right down in the Jackpot City Lounge, right behind the sheet, have a pint, and watch some curling and talk to them probably while the game's going on.
I thought you were going to say that Colton Flash is driving a bus in Halifax, which wouldn't have surprised me either, to tell you the truth.
Listen, exactly. I wouldn't put it past him either.
Yeah. Devin Heroux is our guest. Before you go, again, I want to brag because you are going to represent Saskatchewan. You're a good Sasky guy, going to be covering the Olympics. What does this mean to you? And maybe tell everyone what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. It's an incredible honor for me to be hosting the opening of the Olympic ceremonies for the Olympics alongside CBC's chief correspondent Adrian Arsenault. It's a pinch me moment, Dave. I know you'll appreciate this. You grow up watching the likes of Brian Williams, Ron McLean, Scott Russell, on, and now I get the privileged position of welcoming Canadians into the 2026 Milano Cortina Olympics. Going to give you my best. Going to try and provide as much Saskatchewan content as possible throughout the broadcast. And then after that, I'll be keeping a close eye and talking a lot about curling, of course, but I'll be also positioned at the short track and figure skating venue in Milano, probably running over to check out the hockey as well and be in as many places as possible, fueled by great Italian espresso. But, I'll close out by saying my love of the Olympics was sparked during the 1998 Nagano Olympics when our great team, Schmerler the curler, that fearsome foursome from the Cali, of course, as you said and mentioned, they were larger than life, Dave. They felt like the neighbor next door. And what they proved to me is that you could be from our great prairie province and you could go out there, you could kick ass on the biggest stage on the world. And that ignited something in me that has guided all of my storytelling, has guided everything I do. And I owe it to that team. I owe it to our province, to where I am today. And I'm going to give you all my best. And I just can't wait for these games. Canada's going to put on a show. It's going to be electric. And we're doing it at a time when we're the Grey Cup champions, and hopefully we'll be talking about a Vanier Cup championship and do a sweep from the Valkyries to the Hilltops to the Riders to the Huskies. So I've always said when the Riders are rolling in the province, everything's good in Saskatchewan. So good things, high tides raising all boats in the Prairie Province.
Keep doing what you do. Enjoy the week in Halifax. Thanks you for taking some time.
Appreciate you, Dave. Keep the good times going back home.
I don't think I can. I've had too many good times this week. Devin Heroux from CBC Sports joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. This is the Sports Cage. We've got lots to get to, including around the corner. Farhan Lalji's got 10 million reasons to smile on this Friday. On the text line, well, we've got lots of guesses coming in as far as what those 5 quarterbacks in Saskatchewan Roughriders history have in common. Again, from Montreal to it being their 4th Grey Cup appearance to what else have we got here? Oh, sorry. I could get another 1,000 questions and guesses in on this. I just can't figure them all out. To the idea because of the quarterbacking percentage that they threw in the Grey Cup game. All are great guesses. None are correct. 306-936-6262. What do the 5 Grey Cup winning quarterbacks in Saskatchewan Roughriders have in common? A very specific thing. We'll continue to test your knowledge coming up. Farhan Lalji is standing by. It is 4:30. Also standing by is Cody Glyden in Leroy. They're running out of tickets, folks. He'll tell you how to get yours coming up in 30 seconds. This is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and at 620 CKRM.
Regina Pats hockey.
Partial breakaway, right side stops. He scores!
Then at Dunlop Ford, Regina Pats hockey is back on your official voice of the Pats. 620 CKRM.
Tune in to Puck Drop tonight at 9:05 when the Regina Pats take on the Tri-City Americans at Toyota Center.
Game day tickets are available now from the Pats box office. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen on air or online at 620CKRM.com. Regina Pats hockey. 620 CKRM on location.
Well, Dave is absolutely correct. Yes, we are running out of tickets here in the Leroy Leisure Lotto. We are under 300 tickets. We're down to, I think if I was to take an estimate, probably about 280 tickets remaining left here in the Leroy Leisure Lotto. That 50-50 take-home is approaching $45,000 and continuing to grow. We are getting calls from every corner of the province, from Meadow Lake down to Caryvale, from Tisdale down to Swift Current. Man, we have had calls coming in all over Canada's greatest province for a chance to win $130,000 in cash. In all, 34 chances to win Sunday night, 7 o'clock. You must have your ticket into that draw drum by 8 p.m. tonight. Tonight is the deadline, okay? 34 chances to win $130,000. 1-866-925-3769. That's 1-866-925-3769.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know. That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
In an ideal world, you're already driving one. When you're behind the commands of the Fendt Ideal Combine, you experience a workhorse that takes harvest to task. Real-time monitoring, 485-bushel grain tank that unloads at 6 bushels per second, all backed by a 3-year full machine warranty, plus all scheduled maintenance ensures your harvest doesn't stop. Now that's how you grow bold. See the Ideal Fendt Combine at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. NickService.com.
Yes.
From the frozen fields of Saskatchewan rises a force you can't ignore. It's Canada's ultimate university football showdown as your University of Saskatchewan Huskies fight for their 4th Vanier Cup tomorrow at Mosaic Stadium. The stage is set. The opponents, the Montreal Carabins. The mission, bring home the Vanier Cup. Join the pack at Sports on Tap tomorrow for the official Huskies watch party. This is our time. Go Huskies.
We asked Karen what it's like investing with Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions.
Brian is great to work with. He's always quick to get back to me. I like to ask a lot of questions, and he's always been really good. No question is a silly question. He cares about, when I ask him something, he's very detailed, and I know he cares about his clients, and he's very thorough when he explains things, so I understand it.
SmartInvestingSolutions.ca.
Back to our regular spot, Pump Jacks Cathedral.
You know, I thought Pump Jacks was a kind of boot polish till last month.
Well, what are you getting?
Kerwin's crispy ribs and a cold pint of local craft. Crispy, meaty, beautiful.
You have me meaty.
Plus, we got live music on the weekends, big screens. This place is basically my second marriage.
And way cheaper than the first.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
That was a great curling conversation with Devin Heroux. Of course, you can catch up on all of the interviews, the guests at sportscage.com. Check out our podcast. But it is Clutch Performer time. Dylan Strome of the Washington Capitals. Curtis, he is our Clutch Performer today because he had 3 assists in last night's Washington Capitals 8-4 victory over the Montreal Canadiens. And I can hear you saying he had 3 assists. That's a pretty good night of hockey. However, it's the way that you get those assists. And for Dylan Strome, after the first 20 minutes were done, he headed to the locker room with his Washington Capitals teammate when one of the PR people with the Caps came over and tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Congratulations, Dylan. Your wife Taylor has just given birth to your 3rd daughter." So he goes back and plays the final 40 minutes of the hockey game knowing that he's a new dad and gets 3 assists in the hockey game. So Dylan Strome is your Clutch Performer for Nick's Service. It's a Friday edition of the Sports Cage. I'm Dave Thomas, filling in for Tegan Whitco and Barney Shankaruk. Both will be back next week. Of course, today's show brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Time to head back out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Get the inside story with TSN's Farhan Lalji.
It's time to get the inside story. TSN's Farhan Lalji on Sports Cage is brought to you by the Cooperators. Time to get financially fit? Cooperators can build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
TSN's Farhan Lalji joins us. Have you come down from the Grey Cup yet? You were flying everywhere in Winnipeg, my friend.
Yeah, it was a good week, and it, look, I'm not a fan, so I don't have the euphoria that a Rider fan would, but, as a guy that kind of lives the entire Grey Cup experience for the whole week, it really is a great time. We get to reconnect with our entire staff and just everybody that makes the CFL and TSN so special. It becomes a CFL convention because there's people from around the league there, all the parties. Yes, I went to a few. And I'm not going to lie, like I had a 6 a.m. flight, so I literally went from the final wrap-up, like final extra party, right to the airport. So it took a few days.
What was the experience in Winnipeg like? I know that I don't want you to compare and contrast as a whole, but did you think that it went off the way it was intended to go off?
Yeah, I think so. Look, it's different when the home team's not in it, but on some levels it's kind of good because the organizing committee did such a great job of getting all the events filled and making sure there's a bit of a buzz created. And then when you have Saskatchewan in the big game, they travel so well. So now you get a bunch of people from out of town that come in, especially the last couple of days leading up to it. They're not there for the whole week, but by Friday, everyone's in town. It really adds a lot to everything that's going on. So the Grey Cup committee did a great job. The Saskatchewan fans coming to it just added so much to the event. So, it did. And every year you kind of worry because it's not often a home team is in it. And, what's it going to look like? But once the game sells out and the events sell out and, the awards show, it all comes off really well. And thankfully the weather wasn't so bad that people weren't willing to walk around.
Well, before I present you with an interesting business proposition, I will get your take. 10 million viewers. The numbers are up online and streaming. That's a positive all the way around, isn't it? Like, nobody can find fault in that, can they?
No, and 4 million on TV that watched, that was kind of our average viewing audience, and that's up from last year, and it continues to trend up in the post-COVID era. The Grey Cup is still a really, really important event in Canada. So, I think he's also cinematic, presentations that they do. And I just think people are investing a lot more in content, and that comes out in more people being engaged with the Grey Cup.
Okay, now for the business opportunity. I think if you wanted to line your pockets, you should sell the seat next to you and Dave Naylor at a Grey Cup because it is worth every penny hearing your analysis as the game goes on. It was great. I was absolutely captivated listening to your ideas and then also backing and supporting some of the ideas I had. But your takeaways from the game as a whole?
It was good, and look, I've said on this show, much to the chagrin of Barney, that I picked Montreal to beat Saskatchewan in the Grey Cup at the start of the year. And then I picked them that way at the start of the playoffs. And then 2 days leading up to the event, I flipped my pick. And it was primarily because of Davis Alexander's injury. So, Al's get off to a flying start early, but then Saskatchewan comes back, gets a bunch of points, takes a big lead, and then it kind of felt like some of those, from 12 years ago when these two teams played, where it was kind of Montreal that hung around long enough to get back in the game and make a big play at the end. And, they hung around again and they were able to get some things going in the fourth quarter. And Davis was able to summon everything he had, given the fact he wasn't playing at 100%. And, an epic play to really be the decider with that fumble by Shea Patterson down near the goal line. And, it was an entertaining game, right? And I'm glad Trevor Harris won. I didn't want him to be, that greatest ever that didn't win one because I think he's too good of a player, too good of a leader, and too good of a person for that. And, Rider Nation, who thinks the entire CFL world is against them, what do you have to say now?
Said emphatically by Farhan Lalji from TSN. Okay. I don't know what it was. I scrolled the messages, and it wasn't the Riders, the Montreal messages. The one that stands out is there's a lot of people in Montreal right now that are upset with Jason Moss, thinking that he should have never, ever started Davis Alexander. Your reaction?
I haven't seen that yet. I think that would be a ridiculous take from any fan. Davis Alexander at 75% is light years better than McLeod Bethel Thompson at the current stage of his career and Shea Patterson at the current stage of his career. I'm sorry. We saw in the middle of the season when the Owls didn't have Davis Alexander, that was not a functional football team, right? Like they needed to get Davis Alexander back, or heck, they could have even missed the playoffs the way things were going. So even at not 100%, he gave them the best chance to win and almost wheeled them across the finish line at the end of it all, right? It wasn't his fault there was a fumble. To be honest, the 2-yard line, I personally thought they should have kept Davis in and get Stevie Scott the ball instead of putting it in Shea Patterson's hands. So if you're going to criticize there. But the fact that someone thinks Davis shouldn't have played, ridiculous.
Okay, my French isn't what it used to be, but trying to read between the lines, there is a sentiment that perhaps the Saskatchewan Roughriders did not win the Grey Cup. The Montreal Alouettes lost the Grey Cup.
No, I'm not going there. Saskatchewan played really well. They showed how good and how physical their defense was, how their offensive line was, how complete they were offensively. A.J. Ouellette, big factor in the first half. Sam Emilus played fantastic. All the receivers contributed. You can make the case that the injury impacted the game, but it's not like Montreal, the fumble aside, it's not like Montreal handed this game to Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan led for big chunks. Now, Trevor Harris almost threw that pick at the beginning. Who was it, Ento? I can't remember who it was that dropped it.
Ento, yeah.
Okay, so there's that moment, and there's the fumble, and that's fair. But, when you look at the time of possession and you just follow the game flow from start to finish, I don't think the Riders should be apologizing for anything. They earned it. They won it, and injuries are a part of it.
Well, you kind of alluded to it, Farhan, that you just can't be happy in Saskatchewan because the talk has already started, or maybe it's the worry that's already started that perhaps Trevor Harris is going to hang up his cleats at the age of 39. You don't see it?
Not happening. Having talked to him during the week, he didn't say to me, I'm 100% returning. So I don't want to misrepresent that. But just from our conversations and from, I know him pretty well, and this is the best football he's played in his career, right? Like, the game has slowed down for him at such a level, and his body is able to keep up. Why would you stop now, right? He gets paid pretty well, right? He'd probably make $500,000. I don't know what he's going to get doing that right out of the gate. Like, you make this as long as you can, and if you can sign another 1 or 2 year deal, I fully expect Trevor Harris to be back at quarterback for the Riders next year.
So then what would you expect behind him? Do we see Jake Mayer? Do we see Tommy Stevens? Do we see Jack Cohn?
Yeah, I think Jake Mayer is a pretty solid option, right? Like, I don't know that there's a better backup in the league, right, in terms of high floor, low ceiling, right? Like, you kind of know what you're going to get. He can get you through a game. He can get you through a month, right? I think he's a solid quarterback. I think people have concerns about the upside, right, in terms of deep ball passing ability and consistency over the years, and most people just view Tommy Stevens as a short yardage, fall forward guy, right? Like, they don't view him as a future quarterback. So, have you seen enough in Jack Cohn to decide you want to elevate him over Mayer? I would probably say no. Like, when I look around the league, the next one in terms of young talent that I think could eventually be a championship level starter, I would say that would probably be Taylor Powell in Hamilton. And then I think the other really, really solid quarterback that should make a fan base feel comfortable, not necessarily as the guy of the future, but as the guy that now, if needed, because you got an aging starter, I think it's Jake Mayer.
As you look to Toronto, speaking of quarterbacks, will a former Saskatchewan Roughrider quarterback become the head coach of the Argonauts? Or is that maybe not the blueprint anymore for success when you look what guys like Ryan Dinwiddie and Corey Mace, the younger guys, have done when they get that opportunity?
When Wally Buono came from Calgary to BC, Wally realized, he said to me, he goes, I understood that my job was more than just winning games. I needed to make sure that we played a certain brand of football, that fans were in the seats, that I represented the brand. It was about more than simply winning. And I'm not sure that the Toronto Argos should be going down the Ken Austin road. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to, right? Like, it could go that way. But, when they took a chance and hired Ryan Dinwiddie, who didn't even have head coaching experience, he didn't have play calling experience outside of, like, a couple games in Montreal. Like, they took a leap of faith. It worked great for them. Oh, how about the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who took a shot on Corey Mace as a first-time head coach and hit that one out of the park? I would like to see whether it's Mike Miller or Pete Costanza. Actually, the guy I'd love to see take that job was Orlando Steinauer, because I think he's a winner. He's coached. He builds character. You know what you're going to get. I would hope they would go that way, but they would if Orlando wants to do it. We don't know that yet. But I'd rather them take a chance on some young guy who kills the interview than go out and retread Ken Austin. That's just my opinion.
Ryan Dinwiddie's in Ottawa now. How much turnover on that roster?
Some, their offensive line needs to get better. I think And some of their team is hard to gauge just because of the injury factor, right? Like they lost a lot of guys, especially on the offensive side. You know, I looked at the receiving corps coming into the year, wasn't sure how good it was, but I don't want to say it was not good because it just never came together in its fullness, right? So, you know, I think the organization needs depth. I think they need to upgrade their Canadian talent. Is he going to go out and get Chad Kelly? I'm sure that conversation will happen. But I don't know that Toronto's going to want to hand an MOP-level quarterback to one of their rivals, right? I don't know that makes sense for them. But there will be some roster turnover, but it's not going to have to be stripped down like maybe it was a couple years ago.
Farhan, Lalji, before we let you go, proof that every dog has his day in the sun in the Harvard Media NFL pool. Dave Thomas, 15 for 15 on his picks last week.
Wow! That with the spread?
Yes. But then...
Come on.
But I know, again, once in a blue moon. But then I had Buffalo last night.
You and I need to go to Vegas. You know, I did that once. And I think the league was at 30 teams. Or sorry, that week there was 14 picks, and I went 14 for 14 with the spread. And that was like a decade ago.
Yeah.
So the next time you go to... And I think that was below 500 the following week. So take that for what it's worth. I was 50 and... What was I... I was like 70% this year on my CFL picks during the season with the spread. So that included the playoffs. So, you know, I don't know, maybe. But either way, I'm going to Vegas with you the next time we want to bet NFL.
No, because I picked Buffalo last night. I'm already 0 for 1. What the heck was I thinking?
There you go.
Farhan, terrific job all season long in the Canadian Football League. Can't wait to catch up with more NFL and more. Again, you're a busy guy. Appreciate all this and enjoy your weekend.
Next week, I'll be in Dallas for the Thanksgiving game, Kansas City and Dallas, so I'll probably do this from there.
Sounds perfect. Do you want to throw in a Vanier Cup prediction before you go?
What do we got? Sask and Montreal. I'll take Montreal. I'll take the Caravan.
Well, you thought you would be here next week. He will. No, I'm just kidding. Farhan, have a great weekend. Thanks for doing this.
See you, Dave.
There you go, Farhan Lalji joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. We'll forgive him for that take, I think. Hey, the guy that's calling the game is Arash Madani, and he'll be joining us just after 5 o'clock here in studio, co-hosting. And like I say, we put our feet up, taking your questions and your comments and your calls on the text line at 306-936-6262. It looks like Rob has got those problems figured out for the voice-to-text on the road. It's a safe way to do it, but confused a lot of people, including myself. But his guess that all of the quarterbacks for the Saskatchewan Roughriders that have ever won a Grey Cup were traded to Saskatchewan. Don't forget, Trevor Harris signed as a free agent, so we can take that one off the board. We'll get to more of your guesses coming up as well. Take a look at what's happening in the night of sports with your Sportscage ticker in just a moment. This is the Sportscage. Yes, local sports, they start here. Sportscage.com, of course, streaming there or listening like you are, Rob, on 620 CKRM.
This fall, the eyes of Canadian university football turn to Regina. The University of Regina, City of Regina, and U Sports proudly host the 60th anniversary of the Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 22nd at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time Regina welcomes this historic championship, showcasing the best in Canadian university football. Tickets start at just $10 for youth and students, $20 for adults, and kids under 5 are free. That's Saturday, November 22nd, Mosaic Stadium. Get your tickets now at vaniercup.com.
620 CKRM on location.
Well, good evening. It's Cody Glyden back here in Leroy, the Leroy Leisure Lotto. You know, Dave has been talking about this Rob who's having a tough time with his text-to-phone app. Hey, Rob, give us a quick call here in Leroy for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Well, we've had Jamie from Glentworth call in, Carl and Francis in Francis call, Ted and Wishart, Kevin and Griffin. Good luck to you folks. Thanks for calling in. Your tickets are in the draw drum for a chance to win $130,000. All the draws will be happening Sunday night. The deadline is 8 o'clock tonight. All right, so there is a rush to get on this. We are under 300 tickets. The 50-50 is over $45,000 take home. All right. In all, 34 chances to win, anywhere between $500 all the way up to $130,000. And when you buy your ticket, it just goes right back into the community of Leroy, Saskatchewan. You're helping out rural Saskatchewan here. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
Howdy, y'all. It's Wood Country Woody again. Well, looks like new home prices are still higher than a giraffe on an extension ladder. But a custom and RTM home from Wood Country gives you what you're looking for at a price that's down to earth. They draft your home for you right in store. Then they custom build your home right on your site. Literally thousands less for a home you actually want. See Wood Country today.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale. Wood-country.com.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Holiday season is here, and let's be honest, who wants to cook? Skip the stress. Grab takeout from Western Pizza and keep everyone happy without lifting a finger. And here's a tip. Western Pizza gift cards make the perfect stocking stuffer or last-minute gift. Warm, cheesy, loaded with toppings. It's the gift everyone actually wants. Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today, before your stomach sends out a holiday memo.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
Rough Riders news on a Friday. The Riders have inked national defensive back Gideon Age, who completed his college eligibility at the University of Calgary last year. He was a draft pick of the Riders last year, lit it up at the Combine. He is coming back, as is wide receiver and former University of Regina Rams Deshaun Mims, and Chico Bennett Jr., who signed American defensive end, played and showed well for the Riders this season. They signed new agreements with Saskatchewan to show up at training camp coming up in the spring in Saskatoon. Western Hockey League, the Regina Pats back on the ice, continuing their U.S. Division road trip. They're in Tri-City tonight. You can hear the game here on 620 CKRM starting at 8:30. Also on the ice tonight, four games, in the SJHL, 3 Prairie Junior Hockey League games. The Under-18 Female League is back in action tonight, and in the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets will be without Connor Hellebuck. They're sitting him for 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury. They're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. That's your sports ticker for Extreme Hockey. Coming up after we get to 5 o'clock, of course, Arash Madani will be joining us live in studio. We'll get to more of your guesses. 5 quarterbacks have started and won Grey Cups for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They all have one specific thing in common. What is it? Looking for the smartest person in Rider Nation here on a Mail It In Friday at 306-936-6262. That is the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Again, 5 quarterbacks all have something very specific in common. And we want to know what it is. One guess that they were all MVPs. Good guess, not what we're after. All 5 quarterbacks passed for 300 yards in the Grey Cup, going in depth, but not what we're after. So there you go. Interesting. Also, question from George in Pilot Butte. Can we ask Farhan why TSN doesn't cover the awards ceremony Grey Cup week? And I don't have to ask Farhan. It is a TSN Plus event. So they stream it, but they don't broadcast it. I understand the disappointment, sir. And for the others that are asking about Corey Mace being the Coach of the Year award was not handed out at the award ceremony. That is the Players' Awards. Coaches of the Year is going to be handed out during Combine Week. There you go. Much more coming up. It is the Sports Cage at sportscage.com and 620 CKRM.
Listen weekdays at noon for Saskatchewan Today on CKRM with your host, Ryan Young, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists in an industry that moves fast. Stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, crisis and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at SaskAgToday.com. Saskatchewan Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture. Sponsored by Affinity Credit Union on 620 CKRM.
Year-end clearance has arrived at Crestview Chrysler, and we're blowing out all new 2025 inventory. Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, every badge, every body style. If it's a new 2025, it's marked down to move. Get up to $21,000 off select new 2025 Ram 1500s. And get up to $18,000 off select new 2025 Jeep Wranglers. Do not miss your chance to get massive savings. It's year-end clearance only at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Boarding for Flight 246 to Edmonton is delayed 50 minutes.
What?
Sounds like Ojo time.
Play Ojo? Great idea.
Feel the fun with all your favorite games like Wolf Gold and Joker's Jewels. Plus exclusive ones you won't find anywhere else. Groovy.
Hey, I won!
Feel the fun. Play Ojo.
Boarding will begin when passenger Fisher is done celebrating.
Yes!
Open to all players 18 and older. This is not a gambling site. Please play responsibly. This fall, the eyes of Canadian university football turn to Regina. The University of Regina, City of Regina, and U Sports proudly host the 60th anniversary of the Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 22nd at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time Regina welcomes this historic championship, showcasing the best in Canadian university football. Tickets start at just $10 for youth and students, $20 for adults, and kids under 5 are free. That's Saturday, November 22nd, Mosaic Stadium. Get your tickets now at vaniercup.com.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SaskTel rate plan.
Canadian Western Agribition runs November 24th to 29th at the Real District. 6 full days of action, including Agribition's Family Night at the Chutes, Trade Show, Maple Leaf Circuit Finals Rodeo, and much more. Full event schedule and tickets at agribition.com. The 5th annual Arcola Farm Toy Collectible Show and Sale is Saturday, November 29th and Sunday, November 30th at Prairie Place Hall in Arcola. 10 to 5 on the Saturday, 10 to 3 on the Sunday. For more information, call Blake Brownridge at 306-577-9904 or search Arcola Toy Show on Facebook. And the Carlisle Dickens Village Festival is December 5th and 6th. See Ebenezer Scrooge, Father Christmas, and carolers. Take a horse-drawn carriage ride and stop for high tea, the English market, and more. Details at townofcarlisle.com.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting live from downtown Regina.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news for Echo Sound and Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Chris Fallman from Regina is charged with second-degree murder in the shooting death of 44-year-old Tanya Myers, and he must wait for the results of a bail hearing after Justice Michael Morris reserved his decision in Weyburn. The 2-day hearing included testimony and arguments, but those details are banned from publication. RCMP say Myers was struck by gunfire while traveling on Highway 39 on September 12th. Fallman also faces a firearm charge, while several earlier charges have been stayed. Canadian University football supremacy will be on the line tomorrow between the Montreal Carabin and the U of S Huskies. This year is the first time it's been held in the Queen City, and Brad Gore from the city's tourism department thinks it'll have a positive impact for the city economically.
We're expecting to see an increase in out-of-town tickets to the game due to that there's a Saskatchewan team playing in it. Also, the unseasonably mild weather right now is really helping.
Kickoff tomorrow at Mosaic Stadium will be at 1 p.m. RCMP in Moose Jaw earlier today reported that they were responding to a serious crash on Highway 2, roughly 10 kilometers north of the city, and the highway is now closed while officers begin their early investigation. Police say they cannot share more information at this time. Drivers should expect delays in the area, use detours now in place, and slow down for crews, and also check the highway hotline for updates on the road closure. The 2023 Parliamentary Budget Officer projected that implementing national pharmacare would add $11.2 billion to current government spending on drugs. The Federal Advisory Committee will release its recommendations on how to operate and finance a universal single-payer pharmacare program. The committee was established following last year's Pharmacare Act, supported by an NDP supply and confidence deal with the minority Liberal government. Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent budget did not allocate additional funds for the program. And the BC Conservation Officer Service says they are still looking for a grizzly bear who attacked a group of school students on a trail in Bella Coola, BC. It happened yesterday as students were eating lunch on the trail. Inspector Kevin Van Dam says all hands are on deck for the investigation.
Additional conservation officers arrived in Bella Coola last night to investigate the incident. The bear has not been located at this time. Preliminary information suggests the bear may have been previously injured.
The service has confirmed that 3 children and 1 adult were injured and taken to a hospital. And a Missouri judge who wore an Elvis Presley wig in his courtroom and played the singer's music from his phone during court proceedings has agreed to a deal that would cut his career on the bench short. St. Charles County Circuit Judge Matthew Thornhill faces a 6-month unpaid suspension under the deal he reached with the state board to avoid a disciplinary hearing. After the suspension, he would serve 18 months on the bench before resigning. The deal is pending before the Missouri Supreme Court. The court agreed Thursday to accept 35 letters in support of Thornhill's character. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
620 CKRM on location.
Back here in Leroy, good evening. It's Cody Glyden, the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Okay, we just got an update, and we are now about 250 tickets left. 250 tickets remain for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. It sells out tonight we hope it sells out tonight. The deadline is 8 o'clock. We would love to be able to sell this lottery out before 8 o'clock, but we're really going to need your help. If you haven't called in yet, please make that phone call. Let's just get these phone lines humming tonight. 1-866-925-3769. Tickets $100 each, 3 for $250. Ask about the 50-50, which take home now is over $45,000. All right, 34 chances to win $500, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, and $130,000. But you've got to have a ticket, and we really, really want to sell this lottery out. The deadline, 8 o'clock tonight. We are so close, but we need your help. 1-866-925-3769, 1-866-925-3769.
Man, remember the good old days? Floppy disks, dial-up internet, and that time Stifler wrecked the prom?
Yeah, well, it's 2025 now. Time to grow up and grab a real laptop from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
I'll set up SaskTel internet, maybe stream some Max TV, or relive the American Pie trilogy in glorious HD.
Come in for the Black Friday deals. They're dropping deals hotter than Michelle's flute solo.
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Time for the precision weather forecast for the weekend, brought to you by Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. And for Croft Electric, 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and on all socials.
And less cloud cover by tonight. And tomorrow we'll call it mostly sunny sky. And the temperature drops off just a little bit below freezing tonight, -2, and then 6 degrees tomorrow. Temperatures continue to be above average, around 5 degrees on Sunday, cloud and sunshine. We will see a little more cloud cover, though, coming in Sunday night and Monday. I'm not expecting any precipitation through the night, but by Monday, as the cloud cover moves in, we may see a couple of preceding flurries or sprinkles, but rain showers are likely to set up during the later part of the day on Monday. Temperatures are going to be above freezing, and then they're going to drop. We'll be falling back below freezing, so any rain showers that set up early in the day will transition over to snow, and it'll be more of a steady snow late in the day through Monday evening. The chance for some accumulating snow, in fact, Monday night, depending just how quickly those temperatures fall off and how aggressive the system is. It looks like it has some moisture with it, but how much actually ends up falling as snow is the question. There is certainly potential that some of us get a decent amount. All of us get something, but not necessarily a lot of accumulation, likely several centimeters in most areas. The temperature, again, falling through the day, falling through the night. We drop off under -10 for Monday night, and we're back at -4 on Tuesday with some light snow and flurries lingering.
With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
Dan at Croft Electric explains the 3 levels of electric service they typically supply to customers.
Number 1, you need to do it now. There's something really bad that we need to fix. Number 2, this should get fixed soon, but it doesn't, it's not an immediate emergency. And, number 3 is the nice to have, should be done eventually kind of stuff.
For reliable, professional electrical work for your farm, see Croft Electric.
Do it right, do it once.
CroftElectric.com.
For 40 years, the team from Linex Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Linex Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It is a Friday. We're mailing it in. Don't tell Barney. It's Dave Thomas in for Barney Shankaruk. Tegan Whitco's off today. We're sitting back and giving it to you, Saskatchewan. You've got questions. We want to find the answers from all of our guests because we didn't do any homework. That's the way it rolls, and that's what's happening today. Also, we have guests that are doing their homework when it comes to the text line at 306-936-6262. The question of the day as we search around the globe, and actually I think we're now going to expand it to not just a global search for the most knowledgeable Saskatchewan Roughrider fan. We're actually going to go ahead and expand it to the entire universe. So this thing has come galactical. The question is, there are 5 quarterbacks in Saskatchewan Roughrider history. There's one specific thing that they have in common for those that have won a Grey Cup championship as a starting quarterback. Of course, Trevor Harris joined that exclusive club this week. We want to know what that thing is. Again, from their age to their statistics, have all been great guesses, but it's not what we're after at all. We even have that nothing was bad said about them before going into the game. That's reaching, and it's nowhere near it. Or, if you want bad answers, maybe the fact that they're all over 6'3". Not quite for Darian Durant. Just throwing that out there. We'll get to more of your thoughts coming up in just a little bit, but we are mailing it in. It is Nelson Homes that are proud to bring you the Sports Cage here on this Friday, and we are pleased. I'm extraordinarily happy to share the studio with the man that has got a busy weekend ahead when it comes to the Vanier Cup. The one, the only, Arash Madani is here in studio on a Friday. We were mailing it in, but you didn't have to.
No, I am thrilled to be here. It's good to be back in the studio. I was here in late August, was it, Curtis? Whenever it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Great to be back in Regina. Great to be back for Vanier Cup. I'm pumped for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a hell of a national championship game.
Just the second time that it's been held west of Toronto. No, third time, right?
Really?
So BC, Saskatoon, and Regina.
Okay.
So this is a rarity, but I don't think you could have asked for any better weather.
I couldn't ask for any better weather. I spoke with the Carabin kicker, Carabin returner, and they were floored. Like they were expecting wind gusts and the flags to be flying, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be really good football weather, and which to me is advantage Huskies because they come into this thing with a backup quarterback. They've turned into more of a running offense with Anton Ammonrud out. So I just think that's going to help the University of Saskatchewan a little bit. I think if it was going to be gusty, I think if the conditions were going to be a real factor, I think that would have been a problem. But I think this this helps even it out a little bit more for a backup quarterback going up against the National Rookie of the Year.
See, that's something you don't hear when you're talking about a Saskatchewan team. You would think the more Saskatchewan the weather is, the more advantage they would have.
Yeah, but things aren't pleasant in Quebec either. Things aren't pleasant, So, but it's been what a wild ride. I will say this, that to me there are, and this is no disrespect to the Rams, but to me there are 3 powerhouse programs in the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Huskies, it's Laval, it's Montreal. And then I would put the Rams in a second tier right there with Queens that got to a National Bowl game. So it's good that like 2 of the powers, Montreal won a Vanier 2 years ago. The Huskies have been knocking on the door for the last number of years, and they get another shot at it tomorrow.
I know we're looking to pack the park. They're still very affordable tickets, like $20.
$20
to get in, and you're all in. And there's no bad seats because they're all rush. You pick them yourself, so you can't blame anyone but yourself.
You can sit in the sun.
You're in. Yeah, you can do what you want. It's going to be. I'm anticipating a full house. As far as we're going to see 10, 11, 12,000. I
hope so. I think there's going to be a lot of green coming down the street.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be a lot of green from around the city, just kind of basking in this week-long football thing. I think the weather is going to help. And, this is really meaningful for some of the Huskies vets. Like, Dave, you were at the banquet last night. Seth Hundaby, a guy who grew up in Saskatoon, still lives at mom and dad's house, 5th year, National Defensive Player of the Year, always wanted to play at U of S. His mom was a basketball player at U of S. Yeah. Thought about going to Queens because engineering.
Yeah.
Didn't. Riker Frank, all-time leader in school history and touchdown rushes, 5th-year running back, guy who's homegrown. On and on we can go. Jake Farrell, now the backup quarterback. The rally there, Daniel Weep, first-round pick of the Riders, and, everything that he kind of represents. And they're all rallying around their quarterback, Anton Ammonrud, who has been diagnosed with lymphoma, another rare condition. And that's a real thing. Like, I have in my pocket, drum roll please.
Okay. It's a receipt, isn't it? You're going to try to submit that.
Right. I got some receipts, and I also have, somewhere. They're going to wear number 11 stickers for Anton on the helmet.
Okay.
That's a thing. Like, they're really rallying around him. They're not going to submit the receipts. But I chatted with him. He's a few days ago. He's in the hospital. Had 3 chemotherapy treatments last week. He's in the first recovery phase. There's a long way to go. Curtis, do we have the photo? For those watching on the stream, I thought this was incredible. So the Huskies win the Hardy Cup. They win the Canada West Championship game. And afterwards, Riker Frank and Nathan Jewell, 2 vets, Riker's Anton's roommate.
Yeah.
They go visit him in the hospital. They get a gown on, they get a mask on, they get gloves on because Anton's so immunocompromised right now. And they deliver him a Canada West Champions hat and a gold medal. And Anton told me this week, he's just like, man, he's like, mentally, I'm in good spirits because I still feel like I'm part of this. Like, I got 90 brothers looking out for me. Guys are coming to visit after practice. They're telling me what's happening on the field, what's going on in the locker room. He still feels connected to the whole thing. And he said, you can't believe just how much that kind of has lifted me and helped me through all this. He's still texting with Jake Farrell, who's taken over the starting job. And while Anton's going through what he's going through. And just so many words of encouragement. You've got this. They talk a little ball also. So it's just an incredible kind of story. And all of this happened out of nowhere. Anton's on his way to winning the Heck Crichton as the National Player of the Year. Starts feeling unwell Week 5 against the Calgary Dinos. And all of this has kind of happened for a 23-year-old young man.
We're going to have more on that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your take on that. A good omen, if you will, for the Saskatchewan community when it comes to the matchup this weekend that's actually going to take place on the field. We got to talk a lot. You're kicking back for an hour, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
nothing but time.
If anybody's got a question, you can go ahead and weigh in.
Yeah.
Again, I told you, Barney's gone, so we're not doing any work.
Hallelujah to that.
Yeah. So
yes.
I'm not going to get into any other comments on that. But you can weigh in. Of course, the text line is open at 306-936-6262. The Western Pizza guest hotline is in person with Arash Madani for the hour as we wrap up another week on the Sports Cage. We do need to head out to Leroy and check in with Cody Glyden. We're going to do that in just a moment. Again, more of you coming up, Saskatchewan, whether you're chatting with us on YouTube, on the text line, or you want to give us a call. Rob is working his way through the voice-to-text situation. We'll update that in a moment. This is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Regina Pats hockey.
Partial breakaway, right side stops. He scores!
Bennett Dunlop Ford Regina Pats hockey is back on your official voice of the Pats. 620 CKRM.
Tune in to Puck Drop tonight at 9:05 when the Regina Pats take on the Tri-City Americans at Toyota Center.
Game day tickets are available now from the Pats box office. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen on air or online at 620CKRM.com. Regina Pats hockey. 620 CKRM on location.
Hey, it's Cody Glyden. We're broadcasting from the Leroy Leisure Lotto. We hope you're having a wonderful evening. And before you get busy with supper and your Friday night festivities, give us a quick call here. We're down to, a little under 250 tickets here. Is it going to be a sellout tonight? Well, hard to say. I mean, it's going to be done at 8 o'clock tonight. If you call 2 seconds, 1 second after 8 o'clock, sorry, we can't sell you a ticket. So let's see if we can try and sell it. Can we do 200 tickets between now and 8 o'clock? Ooh, that'll be interesting. Here's the number, 1-866-925-3769, 1-866-925-3769, 1-866-925-3769. They're $100 each, 3 for $250. That 50-50 take-home is up over $45,000 take-home and continuing to grow. $130,000 going to be given away this Sunday, hopefully to you. 1-866-925-3769.
This fall, the eyes of Canadian University football turn to Regina. The University of Regina, City of Regina, and U Sports proudly host the 60th anniversary of the Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 22nd at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time Regina welcomes this historic championship, showcasing the best in Canadian university football. Tickets start at just $10 for youth and students, $20 for adults, and kids under 5 are free. That's Saturday, November 22nd, Mosaic Stadium. Get your tickets now at vaniercup.com. If you have a garage door that's running a little rough, you should really have Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists, come out and repair it. Or it may need to be replaced altogether. Yeah, just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in the business for many, many years, because they can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Honey, calling Busy Bee.
Good idea. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
All right, here we go. Sports Cage, Sports Ticker, Steelcraft Doors. Well, Saskatchewan Roughriders signed a pair of players today. Neither of them are named, or I guess any of them are named Trevor Harris. Gideon Auger, of course, draft pick of the Riders, played with the University of Calgary last year. He is re-upped with the team. Will be at training camp in Saskatoon in the spring, as will former University of Regina Rams receiver Deshaun Mims. He signed on again today, as did Chico Bennett Jr. Chico got in a couple of games, the last 2 games of the year against Winnipeg and BC in the regular season. made an impact at the defensive end spot, so he has also re-upped with the Riders today. On the ice, Western Hockey League action tonight includes the Regina Pats there at the Tri-City Americans. Puck hits the ice at 9 o'clock. You'll hear it here on 620 CKRM. Starting at 8:30, the Brandon Wheat Kings are in Prince Albert to take on the Raiders. Meantime, the Saskatoon Blades host the Swift Current Broncos. National Hockey League tonight, Carolina Hurricanes are in Winnipeg to take on the Jets. The Jets will be without goaltender Connor Hellebuck. He is out 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury. He underwent surgery earlier. The team is calling it minor, but it's a knee injury, and Connor Hellebuck is a large goaltender. That could weigh into the factor and the decision come the end of the day. That's your Sportscage ticker for Steelcraft Doors on a Friday. More guesses pouring in regarding the starting quarterbacks of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the similarity that the 5 of them have. Trevor Harris, Darian Durant, Ronnie Lancaster, Kerry Joseph, and Kent Austin. All 5 quarterbacks got their first Grey Cup with the Riders. A good guess. Not what we're after, though. I don't mind that guess. Just not that one. Also, what do we have? We've got all were American-born players. That's a great guess because they all are. But that's not what we're after. Actually, there's a lot of people going with that. So appreciate that, but not what we're looking for. Again, you can weigh in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. We are proud to have Arash Madani joining us in studio all hour long for your questions, and we've got a couple of them coming up for you in just a bit. But first, we do want to touch on the Vanier Cup, and you talked about your opportunity to speak with Anton Amandrood and the rallying cry that is for the Saskatchewan Huskies. You've been around the team, you've been talking with the team, you've been embedded with the team. Is this, when you look at it, how has this not become a distraction? These are young men caring about one of their own teammates. How have they used that energy and turned it into a positive if they have been able to?
Yeah, I think they have. I think it's something, there's something neat when everybody kind of rallies around a person or a thing. To be honest, Dave, I think it was a distraction last week.
Mm-hmm.
Anton was only diagnosed officially a week ago Monday. So what is that, 10, 11 days ago?
Yeah.
So he gets diagnosed Monday, 2 days after they win the Hardy Cup, in the lead up to the Mitchell Bowl, the national bowl game that they're hosting at Griffiths against Queens. I was chatting with Scott Flory today, the Huskies head coach. Scott's just like, this week has been so much better for us from a preparation standpoint. He said, I spent Monday and Tuesday with Anton. We're telling the team. He's like, Wednesday was just a blur. He said, it wasn't until Thursday I even thought about football. And this is before you're playing in a bowl game on the way to the Vanier Cup. So distractions happen. Adversity happens. It's the name of the game. But nobody was prepared for this. Nobody was prepared for this with their quarterback, with their leader, with, they're young men. These aren't professionals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that because Anton means so much to so many of the guys in the locker room, there's this kind of, we want to do it for him too.
Yeah.
Riker Frank, their 5th-year running back, it's Anton's roommate.
Yeah.
Right? Like they literally live together.
Yeah.
Like they're college students. So it's one of those things where you never know how these things are going to go. And that's part of it. But they also want to win. They want to win a national championship. It's Seth Hundeby's last game as a Rider. It's Riker's last game as a Rider. It's Daniel Weave's last game as a Rider. As a Husky.
Yeah.
They may have many games to go with the Riders.
That's true.
The way things are going. So it's definitely a big part of this whole thing.
In the West, when we hear that there's a Vanier Cup coming to the West, we think automatically, okay, so that's going to be Laval Rougeau against who?
Laval versus somebody, right?
Somebody, right? And it isn't Laval, it's Montreal. Tell me about their team.
Well, the first thing about Montreal that I'd tell you is 2 years ago they won the Vanier Cup.
Yes.
So the Laval-Montreal rivalry, I'm getting chills just thinking about it because I went to university in Quebec.
Yeah.
For those of a certain vintage who remember when the Nordiques and the Canadians played against one another in that rivalry, without hyperbole, the Carabin Rougeau, the University of Montreal-Laval rivalry, has taken over the province as the rivalry in all of Quebec. It is cultural. It is geographical. Quebec City versus Montreal. Before the game, they get into a skirmish. After every play, there's pushing and shoving. the Montreal fans and the Laval fans are separated. It is deep-rooted stuff.
Yeah, okay. Good answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Good answer.
And when you get out of that, you've been through the ringer. Like, Dave, the game in Quebec City when Laval hosted Montreal this year, regular season game, they put more than 21,000 people in the stadium.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
21.
So,
wow. Okay.
So this, and so, you know, when Laval's the best in Montreal, it's like, we got to compete with these, with our rivals. So they come in, you know, they win the Vanier in 23. Laval wins it last year. Now Montreal's back in another national championship game. They have their quarterback is the top rookie in the country.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 4 or 5 receivers who are either 4th or 5th year. The only other one is a sophomore who last year won the Rookie of the Year. They have a bunch of running backs. Their main one is a senior. But because they play Laval the way they do, the heart and soul of that team is their front seven, just like the Huskies.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
4 big-time defensive linemen, 3 linebackers who are ridiculous. You'll see a guy tomorrow with dreads named Harold Miasan. And I was talking to their head coach, Marco Idaluca, about Harold, because Harold flies around, and Harold hits. And Marco's line about Harold was, when he hits to punish. I'm like, oh. Oh, okay. Okay, then. So this is going to be a very physical football game, just like the Huskies dealt with when they faced the Rams. And it's a veteran Montreal team that, like, I talked to Mohamed El Shal, their middle linebacker, and he just, like, without, like, you know, just a stern face, he's just like, well, our goal is to win the Vanier Cup. Like, our goal every year when we come into the season. Mm-hmm. It's not to beat Laval. It's to win the Vanier Cup. You know, when you go into a locker room, there's a 4-digit door code.
Yes, yeah.
January 2nd this year, they changed the door code to 2211, as in November 22nd.
Oh, wow.
The date, Saturday's date, the day of the Vanier Cup.
Wow.
That's the expectation that they have there, and now they have a chance to win their second in 3 years.
So if there's a loud, boisterous crowd at Mosaic Stadium, which we're all hoping for, $20 a ticket,
Of
get
course.
yours right now.
Yes.
That will not fluster anyone, will it?
And that's what they went through. Like, Pepe Gonzalez is a rookie quarterback. That first regular season game at Laval, threw 4 picks.
There you
now,
go.
one was deflected, one was late in the game. But he thought he was ready for it, and then he got there, and then he wasn't. But he went through it. He learned from it, etc. So when they went back for the conference championship game, he was ready for it. I still think a boisterous crowd will still make an impact. They have 4 new offensive linemen up front. Their left guard is a beast, a senior, who I think is going to be a first-round pick in the CFL. His name's Alassane Diouf. He reminds me of Penny Sewell. Just clears guys out. But they have a young offensive line, so silent count with 2 freshmen, 2 sophomore, and a rookie quarterback can make an impact. So if you show up to the stadium and you're rooting green, you can actually have an impact on the football game.
For Sportscage listeners that aren't already a member of our Insider Report Club, you can do so. Sign up right now at sportscage.com. Every day you find out the latest news stories that's happening in Saskatchewan sports, and we challenge you. It's kind of like Sportle, but it's sports in Saskatchewan. The trivia question today, we wanted to know, it's a multiple choice, what did not happen in 2006 of the Vanier Cup in Saskatoon?
Okay.
And the answer is, what did happen was that a football exploded during the game in the kicking net. Current special teams coach with the Saskatchewan Huskies, Braden Sukin, was the kicker that day. He's warming up on the sideline, punts a ball into the net, and it explodes because it was minus 40, the coldest game ever. That's why it took forever for the Vanier Cup to come back. So There's the answer for all of the insiders that want to know. And it's going to be a lot warmer for you tomorrow.
It's going to be a lot warmer. And I'm on the sideline tomorrow, so I'm very happy about that.
Okay.
I packed a lot of layers. I don't think I'm going to need all of them tomorrow.
We've got questions coming in for you, and we got all kinds of answers coming in, no right answers yet. So if you've submitted a guess, we haven't got the right answer yet when it comes to the similarity between the 5 Saskatchewan Roughrider quarterbacks that have won a Grey Cup. We will get to that in just a little bit on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, but to give you a heads up, there's a report card for Winnipeg question for you. There is a World Cup of Soccer question for you.
I like it.
I don't know. Have we ever had one of those, Kurt? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. Okay. Question about that coming up as well. We're going to talk Blue Jays. Question from me, selfishly.
Yes.
We'll do all that coming up on the Sports Cage. Of course, we do have to get back to Leroy. That's where Cody Glyden is. Time is running out to get a ticket. Don't miss out on your opportunity, and don't miss out on your opportunity to ask Arash a question, whether that's on our YouTube chat or at 306-936-6262. Back after a break. This is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
620 CKRM on location.
Good evening, Cody Glyden back here in Leroy for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. We are moving tickets very, very quickly here. We only have about 200 left. That 50-50 take home is up over $45,000. All 34 draws will be happening Sunday night at 7 o'clock right here in Leroy. Up for grabs, $130,000 or the leisure package. A brand new truck of your choice, the Sportsman Select travel trailer, and then your choice between the Sea-Doo and the Polaris ATV. Second prize, the Party in the Patio package from Paradise Leisurescapes in Saskatoon, or $10,000 in cash. Third prize, $5,000. Then there's 20 draws for $1,000 and 10 draws of $500 plus that all-important 50-50. Tickets, $100 each. A 3-pack for $250. Let's sell it out tonight. It is done at 8 o'clock tonight. The deadline is 8 p.m. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
From the frozen fields of Saskatchewan rises a force you can't ignore. It's Canada's ultimate university football showdown as your University of Saskatchewan Huskies fight for their 4th Vanier Cup tomorrow at Mosaic Stadium. The stage is set. The opponents, the Montreal Carabins. The mission, bring home the Vanier Cup. Join the pack at Sports on Tap tomorrow for the official Huskies watch party. This is our time. Go Huskies.
Out on the prairies, the Cattle have started their own hockey league. Problem is, between periods, they still need water, and no one's skating to the penalty box for a drink in -20 weather. That's where Keln Solar comes in. With solar livestock watering systems, you can drop a pump just about anywhere. No grid, no trenching, no drama. So let the cows keep playing. You move the water. Keln Solar. They move water because your cows won't. Visit kelnsolar.com.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
After shuttling the kids to hockey, dance, piano, and what was next? Sumo wrestling? The last thing you want to do is cook. Imagine this instead. Piping hot Western pizza loaded with cheese, melty toppings, and that perfect crispy crust ready to hit the table in minutes. No chopping, no stirring, no mess. Just a warm, delicious reward for surviving the day. Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today before your stomach demands its own carpool.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. This is Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
25 minutes to go. The best part of that break was when the mic was off. See? I told you, we're mailing it in on a Friday. It's Dave Thomas in for Barney Shankaruk, Tegan Whitco, and taking your guesses what the 5 quarterbacks have in common. All had 1,000-yard accompanying backs. That's a deep, deep guess. It's not right, but it is a deep
you admire
guess.
the guess.
I
Yeah.
do. So, yeah, that's where we're at here on this Friday afternoon. Arash Madani has been kind enough to join us in studio, of course, preparing for the Vanier Cup. That is going to be held tomorrow at Mosaic Stadium, 1 o'clock kickoff. Saskatchewan Huskies taking on the Montreal Carabins.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, is there a favorite in this game?
I think it's Montreal, just because Sask has their backup quarterback out there. I haven't seen the Vegas line.
Yeah, no.
I would suspect if I were setting a line, it'd be somewhere around Carabin minus 3.5.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Okay, I promised Saskatchewan the opportunity to do our job, and I appreciate you doing it because, quite frankly, we didn't want to.
There you go.
306-936-6262. Let's start with the Grey Cup. Arash Madani, you have ties to the Winnipeg community.
I do.
How would you grade, this is according to Rebecca, how would you grade the Winnipeg Grey Cup as opposed to past Grey Cups?
I wasn't there, Rebecca, so I can't grade the overall week. What has baffled me about the whole Winnipeg situation is this whole Mike O'Shea, Kyle Walters thing.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I don't understand. To me, O'Shea just played the Blue Bombers. He used Toronto as leverage. Mm-hmm. I really look at this and I'm saying to myself, what was the need for, if you grant permission for Mike to go interview in Toronto, why are you then giving him a 3-year contract extension after? And you want to follow trends and you want to follow patterns. So let's look at the last 3 years, last 4 years. Favorites going into the Grey Cup, have a halftime lead of the Grey Cup, lose it. The next year, favorites going into the Grey Cup, halftime lead, lose it.
Yeah.
Stop if you've heard this before. Favorites, halftime lead, lose it. Then miss the West playoffs altogether.
Yeah.
And lose in the first round as the crossover team. So this is not trending upwards with a veteran team that's longer in the tooth. I think they're going to try and run a lot of this back. I don't get it. So I didn't answer your question, Rebecca, because I wasn't there, but that's my thought on the whole Winnipeg thing.
Follow-up question then from me.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, should we all just butt out when it comes to Zach Collaros? Again, Zach, if he wants to play, is physically able to play, is cleared to play, who are we to say that he should not be playing, and or Winnipeg thinking of a different option, which I'm not sure that is Terry Wilson behind him. Or, sorry, there is Chris Strevler. I didn't mention Chris.
Yeah, he's coming off an ACL, so who knows where he's going to be. Look, Zach's a grown man with a family, with kids. He knows the dangers. He knows what's ahead, and he's choosing to do this. So, yeah. The other part of this is, when it's connected to the whole O'Shea thing, Mike O'Shea promoted Jason Hogan to be the offensive coordinator. It was a disaster from the jump.
Yeah.
Zach basically came out and said from training camp on, it was off. And then you go into a playoff game on the road in November outdoors against an Alouette defense that's without Mustafa Johnson, that's without Sean Oakman. They're your 2 defensive tackles. The middle of that defensive line is out. You have Brady Oliveira, the reigning most outstanding player in the league, and you hand the ball off 8 times? That's coaching malpractice, Dave. And I wonder, Zach's back, O'Shea's back. I wonder if Zach knocks on Mike O'Shea's door and says, hey, Tommy Condell is not returning to the Ottawa Red Blacks. Ryan Dinwiddie's there. He's going to call the offense. Condell and Collaros got along extremely well when Collaros was a Tiger Cat. Condell was the play caller in Hamilton then. Is Condell the next OC in Winnipeg? That's something I wonder about.
Interesting. Okay, staying with the CFL, Neil, Arash, I appreciate your insights and what you can give us from behind the scenes. Do you think Trey Ford will take another snap at quarterback in the Canadian Football League?
Absolutely. I don't know if he's going to take another snap with the Edmonton Elks. I think the time there is done. I think, talk about leverage, Cody Vichardo's got a lot of it. And here's the thing, sorry, what was the name of the...
Neil.
Okay, so Neil, let's just step aside right now from the CFL for just a moment. Look at the quarterbacks in the NFL that are having a ton of success right now. Daniel Jones on his third team with the Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold on his fourth team right now with the Seattle Seahawks. Baker Mayfield with his fourth team right now in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We are expecting these young guys to come in and instantly deliver. This isn't Folgers. This is not instant coffee. This stuff takes time. The issue is organizations don't have time because everybody's on the clock. And I mentioned this to Barney a few weeks ago. I think it's worth repeating for this conversation. People I talked to a little over a year ago, and by a little over is like 12 plus to 13 months ago, who were interviewing for the Elks GM job and were interviewing for the Elks head coaching job, were told bluntly, in no uncertain terms, Trey Ford's your starting quarterback. So I don't know if that was coming from the late Larry Thompson, owner. I don't know if that was coming from Chris Morris. I don't know if it was a combination of both. But whomever was coming in was told that because I think they thought they were going to sell tickets with a Canadian quarterback. Obviously, Larry has passed away. Obviously, it didn't work out with Trey Ford in the short term. So I think Trey Ford's going to get another shot. I just think his time in Edmonton's probably come to an end.
Who's the next head coach of the Toronto Argonauts?
No clue.
Wow. Okay.
And I think if you gave Michael Pinball Clemens truth serum and had him sit right beside you, that would be his answer too.
Wow. No Kent Austin.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've heard his name come up just like you have. The Orlando Steinauer thing has come up. I wonder, does Orlando leave Hamilton? Here's the thing about the Argonaut situation. Their roster is depleted. It is not a good situation there. I got a good one for you. So I did some digging this week.
Okay.
The starting quarterback there, Chad Kelly.
Yes.
We are going to find out by January 31st if he's going to be an Argonaut or not. You're saying, what the hell are you talking about, Arash, right? What does January 31st have to do with anything? Chad Kelly's all-in cap hit for next season, all your roster bonuses, off-season bonuses, marketing money, salary, housing, is a $625,000 cap hit for next season.
Ooh.
He is owed, of that $625,000, he is owed $225,000 on February 1st.
And there you go.
So the decision has to be made. Do you cut him? Do you keep him? Do you trade him? The team that would love to have him is down the street in Ottawa.
Yeah.
But I am quite certain that the Argonauts want nothing to do with trading Chad Kelly to Ryan Dinwiddie.
Yes.
I wonder, I look at that 225, 625. You don't have an offensive line. You lost your pass rush in free agency. You haven't had a scouting department in I don't know how long. Your general manager has no idea what half the names on your roster even is. Does it make sense to keep Chad Kelly? It's not like he sells tickets, because nobody sells tickets in Toronto.
Yeah.
So that's why Jan 31 is a big day in the CFL offseason calendar, because the 225 is owed to Chad on Feb 1.
Okay. Was there bitterness?
I knew I had to come here with something for you, Dave.
I love that.
So
I love that.
So I figured I'd come with that.
Okay. Heather from Ottawa is listening today. Wants to see if she is the smartest Rider fan. Maybe too late, but that is not the right answer, that they only won one Grey Cup. That is not the correct answer that we're after when it comes to the 5 quarterbacks that all have something in common. But it's a great answer, but it is not what we are after today. But speaking of Ottawa, is there bitterness from the Red Blacks towards the Argonauts? Of course there is. But when it comes to Ryan Dinwiddie and the way the hiring happened.
No, there shouldn't be. Look, the Toronto Argonauts had Ryan Dinwiddie under contract for another year.
Mm-hmm.
They granted the Red Blacks permission, and effectively the Argonauts decided that Ryan Dinwiddie wanted to move forward in a direction as head coach with a different GM, and he wanted John Murphy out of there. And the Toronto Argonauts decided that we're better off with Michael Clemens and John Murphy than we are Ryan Dinwiddie. So good luck to you.
Wow.
Good luck to you.
Travis on the Prairieland Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. Hey, Arash, welcome back to Regina, next year's World Cup.
Yes, Travis.
I knew you'd love this.
I love it.
I knew it was coming. How do you think Canada can go in this tournament? How do you think they will do, I think, perhaps? Obviously, a lot depends on the draw, but now with the expanded World Cup and more third-place teams making it into the knockout round, is the round of 16 reachable? Quarterfinal? Question mark.
If they're healthy, Travis, if the pool ends up okay, if they have a shot. There's so many questions. There's a long way to go still. I mean, it's November. This thing gets started June 12th. What's their goalkeeping situation going to be? How is Alfonso going to respond coming back? What's Bombito's situation after the injury? On and on it goes. Dave, I know nobody thinks about soccer that much in these parts. I am telling you, June 12th, 2026, this magic fairy dust spell is going to sprinkle across the country, and people are going to get interested out of nowhere. It's almost like the Vancouver 2010 Olympics, where nobody cared, and then suddenly everybody did. It was almost like the Blue Jays. In late September, we weren't talking about them. By late October, everybody had an opinion. The same thing's about to happen. Travis, I can set a pathway for this team to reach the quarterfinals, and I can set a pathway for this team to bomb out in the group stage.
Wow.
They also haven't been able to score a goal in 3.5 games, so that's a bit problematic. But let's find it next month. We find out who's going to be in the pools, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, we might circle back to World Cup, as we've got Ron and Deb have a Jays question for Arash. Is Kyle Tucker on the board?
I believe so. If Tucker arrives, Bichette's gone. If Bichette remains, Tucker's not in the mix. I don't foresee a scenario where you're paying Vlad $500 million, $500 million with a B.
Yeah.
And I know Springer's coming off the books after next year, but I just don't foresee a situation where you can have Guerrero, Tucker, and Bichette. So I think in the way the Blue Jays are looking at this is that one of the two is in the mix. If the follow-up question is, what's the Bichette situation?
That's mine.
Yes.
I texted that in myself.
There you go.
See, I wasn't totally mailing it in, but I was a little bit.
I would suspect there are 4, if not 5, legitimate teams in the conversation for Bo Bichette. And look, it's free agency sweepstakes. So what matters to Bo, we don't know. Bo is a very cards close to the vest guy. I covered him. I was around him for a number of years. He doesn't give you much. What matters to Bo? Winning matters to Bo, but what else? Where do you want to live for the next 12, 13 years? Do you want to be in an American market where you feel you may have more endorsement opportunities or not? Do you prefer big market or small market? Do you want to be in the fishbowl of New York or Boston when they're critiquing every move? So we'll find out what Bo wants. I would suspect from what the free agency number looks like, it wouldn't surprise me, Dave, if we're talking 13 years, give or take one, around $400 million US.
I'm trying to compare that to another contract. I'm trying to think whose ballpark that's in. It's just below Vladdy, obviously.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you're Bo,
like Juan Soto,
yeah, that would be Juan money, right?
Yeah.
So obviously you've been on that turf with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Sure.
I love the job, man. that you do with the stories you told were spectacular.
I appreciate it.
Fanboying out here. If I am Bo Bichette, do I care what the Toronto Blue Jays look like next year? Is what they did this year repeatable, right? You've got Ernie Clement, amazing season, career year. You've got Alejandro Kirk, career year. Is that his ceiling, or are we just getting started with Alejandro Kirk? Davis Schneider. Can Davis Schneider still be an outfielder in Major League Baseball and produce with the bat when he has to against a left-handed pitcher? If I'm Bo Bichette, am I looking and considering any of that or no?
So I believe that like anybody taking a job, you're putting together a pros and cons list for every market. Hey, what do I like about this? What do I don't like about it? What do I not like about this? What matters to me? What doesn't matter to me? Et cetera, et cetera. And all those things, Dave, you bring up are valid, but I think just as valid is, what about the pitching staff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What does our rotation look like? What happens when a couple of guys get hurt? What's kind of waiting in the wings? And remember, this is a job for them. Where do I want to live? Do I like what's going on around me? Where are the other opportunities to make money? Blah, blah, blah. So you just never know. Bo's about to get married. Where does his soon-to-be wife want to live? That weighs into it too. So all of that is kind of part of the equation when people make free agency decisions.
In a word or less. Okay, no, a word or less? I'm really mailing it in on a Friday. Does the Vladdy Bo experience, is that still a factor? Like, does Bo still want to stay with Vladdy?
It's real.
Yeah, okay.
It's real.
All right, we do need to take a break. We'll come back and wrap things up, get to the answer on that trivia question, try to get to one more question from you on the Prairieland Rentals text line. We're going out to Leroy in a moment. This is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM. 620 CKRM on location.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. It's Cody Glyden back here in Leroy. One of my final opportunities to remind you to get your ticket here for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Agnes in Regina gave us a call, said she wants in on the $130,000. Good luck to you, Agnes. We had Cindy in Regina. We had a call from Weyburn as well. Linda in Indian Head wants in on the $130,000. How about you? We need you, Saskatchewan. Give us a call here. It's done tonight, 8 o'clock. The draws are 7 o'clock on Sunday. Okay, so again, 8 o'clock tonight is the deadline. Sunday is the draw at 1-866-925-3769. There will be 10 draws of $500, 20 draws of $1,000, a draw for $5,000, a draw for $10,000, and then the big money, $130,000. Tickets $100 each, 3 for $250. Right now, give us a call. Here we go. 1-866-925-3769.
Here comes Bill. Who's the guy with him?
You don't know him? That's Andrew, the opener guru from Dutch.
Guru, you say?
Yep. I saw your emergence last spring, and let's just say your openers looked tired. Their preseason program is on now. You should talk to him. We all know how cost-conscious you are.
Freaking Bill. Thinks he knows everything.
This season, get expert advice and save before the rush. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture, on farm for you.
Look, honey, Carl's out there again with his Husqvarna snow thrower.
He's clearing our driveway again. He's a snow angel with a pull cord.
Just lending a hand, folks.
Carl, we owe you dinner. No, a weekend trip. No, naming our first grandkid Husqvarna Carl.
Or maybe just get your own Husqvarna.
Brilliant!
Stop bugging Carl. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Now I've got you all to myself.
affordability in Canada is getting worse. Canadians are now paying nearly half their paycheck towards taxes. That's more than on food, clothing, and shelter combined. It's unacceptable. Conservatives stand with hardworking Canadians and will take aim at the affordability crisis by bringing down taxes, cutting spending towards needless bureaucracy and consultants, and fight for fiscal discipline in this Liberal government. My name is Warren Steinley, your Conservative Member of Parliament for Regina Luban, and I will always be on Saskatchewan's side.
Paid ad by Warren Steinley.
Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com, on our YouTube channel, and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports. 620 CKRM.
All right, I thought we were going to do the Sprinkle of the Day. Do we have a music? No music for Sprinkle of the Day for Sports Select? I really am mailing it in. I didn't even know that. The reason that Barney is coming back and Tegan will be here next week is because I mailed it in on a Friday. Hello, Rider Nation in Saskatchewan. It's been a long week. We've survived. The Vanier Cup is coming up tomorrow. Your Sprinkle of the Day is brought to you by Sports Select. Get in on more of the sports action you want. It's as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local lotto spot retailer. Every bet 100% legal and with the chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 to play. Play responsibly. And the Sprinkle of the Day has the Carolina Hurricanes and the Winnipeg Jets going tonight. Winnipeg without Connor Hellebuck. Winnipeg, it's changed. So Winnipeg 0.5 plus 0.5, right? Mm-hmm. So it's changed in 12 seconds since I looked at it.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It is.
What about the over? 6 is a lot, but shoot, no Hellebuck.
No Hellebuck.
Let's go.
Okay. That's your sprinkle?
That's my sprinkle.
That's Arash Madani sprinkle, folks. You can send your cards and letters. And, of course, you can get in on the game by playing on your phone at sportselect.com. That's right. That's right. Okay, we're almost out of time. I do have it's a groundbreaking day on the Sportscage. We have a second. I don't know if you can answer this one. This one's from John. It's a second question when it comes to soccer.
Okay, I'm in.
Soccer going to be hosted in Canada. Where will it be a bigger success in the World Cup, either in Vancouver or Toronto?
Vancouver, because Toronto's stadium situation is a disgrace. You've been to BMO Field.
Yeah.
The world is coming. The opening match of the World Cup is going to be in Canada, in Toronto, at a stadium that look like, to a lot of Americans, are like, this is like a high school stadium where we are.
Yes,
think about some of these stadiums around the world, 80, 90, 100,000 people, and BMO, at least BC Place feels like a big-time stadium. When we were there for Grey Cup last year, they were already doing renos and getting it ready for the World Cup, so I'd say Vancouver.
I believe they're putting grass in.
They have to.
In Vancouver.
They already have it in Toronto. They have to. It is a mandate, a FIFA mandate for a men's World Cup.
So if they can put grass in BC Place, why can't they put grass in Rogers Centre?
It is a drainage issue.
Okay.
That stadium was built in, 1988, 89?
Mm-hmm.
All it has is concrete. You have to dig. What's the opposite of the heavens? You have to dig forever and ever and ever and ever and ever before there's any kind of drainage situation. So, also, BC Place, you put grass, it's temporary.
Oh, okay, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So to do it full time is...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Vanier Cup tomorrow. Have a great broadcast.
Thank you. Be on CBC tomorrow for those who want to watch our national championship game. It is great football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pumped for it.
Absolutely. Arash Madani, our guest. Oh, should I give away we didn't get the right answer on the trivia question.
Yeah, I want to hear it, Dave. It's been bothering me all day.
Now, this has been verified. We did do a fact check. And nobody guessed it right. And again, it was a specific answer. So, again, the quarterbacks, Ronnie Lancaster, Kerry Joseph, Kent Austin, Darian Durant, Trevor Harris. They all are right-handed. We nailed it in. We nailed it in. That's why I'm not back. Tegan will be here on Monday. Of course, we've got Regina Pats hockey coming up tonight. Thanks, Arash.
Great to see you, Dave.
I'm glad you didn't
Curtis.
walk out. I thought he was going to walk out right-handed.
Thanks for having me. The hour flew by. What a great time.
We'll do it again next week. Again, you can find us on all your platforms, whether it comes to the podcast or, of course, you can watch us on YouTube, pick up what you may have missed this week. We'll talk to you again next week if they allow me back. Have a great weekend, Saskatchewan. And yes, the Riders are Grey Cup champs. This has been the Sports Cage at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting from Regina, around the world at 620CKRM.com.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. Chris Fallman of Regina, who is accused of killing Weyburn resident Tanya Myers on Highway 39, is still waiting to learn if he will get bail after a 2-day hearing before Justice Michael Morris. The show cause hearing wrapped up today, and Morris has reserved his decision with no date set. Fallman remains in custody. The case returns to Weyburn Provincial Court on December 9th, and evidence is under a publication ban. We're less than 24 hours away from the Vanier Cup, symbolic of Canadian university football supremacy, taking place at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time the event has been held here in the Queen City. Brad Gore, the Director of Marketing and Tourism for Regina, is looking forward to the event, even if they're not sure about what kind of economic spin-off this will have for the city.
I think the best part is it's a wonderful national spotlight for Regina and also for university sports. And I think that's a great way to showcase that kind of collegiate